I like wood.
Wow.
I like wood.
What?
Deeper and longer.
Q snatch.
I like wood.
Wow.
Transvestites.
started. 4, 3, 2, 1. Up below us, drifting fall. Sorry, it's a terrible way to start a show, but I really don't care. Honestly, it's for Friday, and Fridays are starting to mean something again. For me, it means, well, increasingly it will mean a triple work day, meaning this show and then 2 shows at night doing stand-up, hopefully in the very near future. I'm excited about that idea. And then, of course, prepping for radio tomorrow. So tomorrow, regular show, 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. And so lots going on, obviously. Clearly, we're all on the brink of a commie, socialist, tyrannical, authoritarian, lefty, Antifa, trans nightmare, I suppose. You have to understand, looking at right-wing media right now is like drinking from a fire hose, so it's really hard to tell. Look, I want to be scared, don't get me wrong. I want to fear nearly everyone I come in contact with, right? Who doesn't have that as their sort of intrinsic, it's just part of my nature, you know what I mean? I want to walk outside and go, what, huh? To every person. And, sorry, yeah, I know it's Thursday. I'm kidding. Can I do just one April Fool's thing? And then... Never mind. All right, so... I had you going there for a split second. I did. Come on. It's like, it was a minor one. The big ones don't work. The big giant April Fool's things don't work. Right? I have to do little minor ones. You got excited. It was, oh my God, Mark, thank you. Thanks for coming to my birthday party. For being digital friends, I'm sorry, no cake, but there's entertainment. That's what I'm trying. Is it your birthday? Happy birthday, Mark. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mark. Happy birthday to you. Why don't you have cake? We're all very upset. I just had you. Can you at least do cake icons? Something like that. Everybody send Mark an emoji or an emote, especially if you're on Twitch, of cake, please. But I did have you. I had you, didn't I? We start later on Thursdays, so I was like, do I go on at 3 early and then just leave it blank? But after the tech issues I had yesterday, I was like, it was very difficult to figure out what I was gonna. All right. So, anyways, yes, April Fools and welcome and hi. What year is it? That's a good question. I'm glad I got you, Bethany. It was very small. It was very, again, big April Fool's jokes just don't work because you see them coming. I was like, if I did something like, Trump 2024 and named the show that and was like, I've gone full MAGA and wear a red hat. Like, nobody did. It'd be cute. It wouldn't be funny. So, anyways, here we go. So, there's a lot going on, obviously, in right-wing media. And we thank you guys who joined us for the extra long marathon yesterday of Mike Lindell's ridiculousness.
I like wood.
And I think we all learned something.
What?
I like wood.
About both him and Tucker Carlson. Now, in the last, I thought we had seen, in many ways, the last of sort of Trump interviews for a while. But apparently, I don't know how she got this hookup. I have to say, I fell asleep. I fell asleep, too. It was brutal. Plain iced tea. Gotta love it. And they even put, it says unsweetened. Oh, you can't read it because it's green. Yeah, anyways. Son of a... Ugh. It was brutal. It was nothing. And again, I'm still kind of reeling ridiculousness with guest star Mike Pella. Holy smokes! I'm still reeling from how stupid it was. I found myself last night laughing kind of out loud to myself, kind of in the middle of just watching a movie. I just started laughing at this is just so dumb. Yes, we need an unsweet emote. That's a great idea. I mean, words that small are, like hard to get. We'll figure it out. I'll do something. Like the word sweet and a circle and a line through it. Maybe that, I think. Okay, so anyways, Trump did an interview, and I can't imagine how this person managed to get it. Oh, gee, why did they get an interview? It's Lara Trump. Apparently, she knows someone in the family that was able to hook her up with her because her show was flagging crap and no one was tuning in. And of course, she gets Trump 11,000 rumbles. You guys, we've all seen how, how lame these turnouts are. 800. Look at this. Look at the views. I mean, huge drop off. Is this the Rumble ratioing that we're seeing? 828,827 views, 11,000 rumbles. That's kind of pitiful. I've seen videos with way bigger views get way more rumbles in this, right? Rumble is like right-wing YouTube. That's a great way of putting it. Except it's really poorly constructed. It has next to no you have to sign in and join to see comments. You can't just look at them. It's all like free speech, but don't say anything. So obviously, this is gonna be money. Oh my God, that's loud. Chill out, Rumble. Lara Trump is Lara Trump. Trumpet Lara Trump. Trumpet Lara's got the right view, as in right and also not left and also correct, and also shitty logo that hides the V so it looks like right. Ew. I see. Right. Ew. Really? This is what you get for getting your graphics from Fiverr. Fucking Fiverr.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome.
Hi, it's so good to be there. Oh my God, what a great setting. Let me guess, you're at Mar-a-Lago in one of the viewing, like kind of the weird little ball presentation wedding areas, and you're dressed like a French mime who's escaped jail by cutting off his sleeves.
Welcome to The Right View. I'm Lara Trump, and I am so honored to have a very special guest with me
Your father-in-law?
this evening.
Melissa,
he
thank
really
you.
needs no introduction, but
Please give him one. Please go through it. Please, he does need an introduction because I don't know what the shit he's doing.
75 million of you out there voted for him.
Oh, excuse me. According to Mike Pillow, 80 million voted for him. It's a total fraud. What's going on?
You've been dying to hear from
Yeah, the sound is awful. She's in this giant ballroom. The sound sucks. I don't get it. Why wouldn't you just have it in one of the rooms? Probably because he wanted a backdrop. I wonder if the QAnon post was, you think?
him. So here with me this evening, I'm honored to have our 45th
Are you honored to have him? Wait a minute. Did she check off the proper number of honors?
President of the United States, my father-in-law, President Donald J. Trump.
Oh my God, this is such a McCain moment.
Well, I just want to start by asking you the question that I get
asked most often. Why a profile shot? And how is it that he's 6'3" and you're taller than he is?
asked the most.
Is he shrinking?
Everyone wants to hear, how are you doing?
How are you doing? And are you allergic to...
How has it been down here?
Well, it's been great. It's Florida.
Well, at least he knows what state he's in. I'm orange. I've got a weird, like, let them eat cake French. This is what it's like to live inside a birthday cake.
Beautiful state. It's a well-run state. We had a tremendous election result in Florida, as you know, despite millions and millions of dollars being spent against us. And we had a big victory, I guess, unprecedented victory.
No, it was precedented. Other people have won Florida before. But yeah, I mean,
And as we did in many states, and we should have had in all states, but I guess
Yeah. Everyone thinks they should have won all states. Every state.
that's still, in my opinion, being
Breaking showed nude pictures of women he slept with to other congressmen. That's not surprising. It will be breaking news if they were underage, and they will be.
looked at by a lot of people. It was disgraceful what happened. That was a third world country voting system, and it's
No, it wasn't. We had 96% paper trail this time around. It was the most secure election we've ever had. Every stupid argument you've heard from him or his supporters about that is complete ass gas.
it's a shame. It's an
It's actually awesome.
absolute shame, but it's being looked at by a lot of different people.
Is it?
But we had a fantastic
It seems to be being looked at by the same fuckers every day.
election. You know, I say I ran twice, and we did better the second time by a lot, by 12 million votes. And but I love Florida. It's a
Way to stay on topic. Grandpa, over here.
it's just a spectacular place.
Isn't it? It's so spectacular.
Yeah, well, a well-run state, we would say.
Yeah, we would say it was well run.
I want to ask
Especially the hiding the actual death count. I mean, the level of skill.
you because it took 65 days for Joe Biden to finally come out and do a press conference. I know you've talked about this a little bit, but you were so transparent with the media. Whether they loved you or hated you, you were always happy to go up to them. I remember you would walk out.
Seriously, she must be fucking gigantic. Either that or he insisted on is he shrinking and melting? I'm not kidding.
You were on the way to Marine One and say, let's go, ask me questions, no note cards, nothing. We saw the...
Yeah, gibberish, flailing, a lot of griping. Why would you need... He even had note cards multiple times where we saw that, don't forget to shit on this reporter.
Press conference that Joe Biden had, if you can even call it that.
I would call it was a press conference.
He had a lot of notes. He had
Yeah, details, facts. He also pulled some just from memory, but he also related to them directly.
printouts with people's faces and names on it, who to call on, who not to call on. What was your takeaway from that press conference?
Let me guess, it's disgraceful, and it's a disgrace, and it's just a disgrace.
Well, I think the press conference is probably the least of it. People saw a lot of things happening long prior to the press conference, and even the trip up the stairs, up and down, 3 times.
Did you watch the video a bunch of times? Is that hanging with you? So he gets a 1 point. No, all right.
There were a lot of things.
Lara's 5'11". She is? How is she 5? Honest to God, has he been replaced with a miniaturized version?
A lot of things are going on, so we'll see what happens. I hope.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, cool. A lot of things are going on. We'll see what happens. Cool. All right. Well, Eric is 6'5". He's 6'1". Yeah.
He's in good shape. I hope he's okay for the sake of the country.
Yeah.
He's fine.
But I think people get it, and I think.
I think people get it. Yeah, they totally do. They're with it.
Very importantly, the things that he said, and whether we debated or whether he just made statements, all of those things were not what he's doing. This is more liberal.
Yeah, no, he actually is. I think this is just the shit in your ears defense. Even the Keystone Pipeline thing, which is probably where he's going to go because he harps on that all the time. He wasn't going to attack energy. He didn't say he was going to attack it. Keystone's been on the chopping block since Biden was Obama's VP.
Liberal, more radical than Bernie Sanders ever had in mind. Bernie could not be happier. But this is something Bernie would have.
Well, I mean, he would have liked to be president, I suppose.
Never suggested what's happening. He never talked about what he's doing to destroy energy and the.
What'd I say? It's the same. Jesus Christ. You just flicked the record. 5'10", 290 pounds. Seriously, she's 5'11". What kind of Tom Cruise bullshit are we seeing here?
Second Amendment now is going to be next. You're going to just.
Yeah, right at, he didn't say he was going to do anything about guns. Yeah, he did.
They're going to destroy the Second Amendment. All of the things that they're doing are things, raise taxes at a level, the biggest tax increase in history.
Well, no, not at all.
Those were not things that were discussed at all during the election.
Yeah, well, you brought up a good point.
No, well, so clearly you weren't listening? Yeah. Is she on a... They're on the same kind of chairs. The chairs are the same height, right? Is the floor just shitty and sloped at Mar-a-Lago?
Point. It was actually a little upsetting as an American to see him trip up the stairs so many times. But the media...
Yeah, I could tell. You're just brokenhearted.
Coverage of that versus the way they covered you, every year being obsessed with your physical. I remember when you were at West Point walking down a slippery slope.
Yeah, it was a slippery slope.
You know, there were no handles on either side. I know
No, it's terrible. And
you had slippery shoes on. So you took your time to go down. For a week straight, all they talked about was, are you fit to be president of the United States? Which
No, I mean, they were linking it with your jibber jabber and your wandering thoughts and your inability to hold a conversation with anybody.
we know is absolutely ridiculous.
It is. I mean, it's not like you're shrinking or something.
But they haven't given the same treatment or scrutiny to Joe Biden when it comes to that. I think Americans
He released his medical records.
are a little bit frustrated by that, and I think we should be demanding transparency, especially when it does come to the health of the president
Yeah. The world needs to know if his ankle is okay.
of the United States.
Well, you know, when you do speeches, you sort of know if you did well or not well or however it is. And I think
Well, not well, somewhere between well and not well. Medium well?
I made my best speech, or certainly one of them at West Point.
You think?
And
If I do say so my damn self.
it's pouring, raining, beautiful.
Yeah, tell us the whole story. It is good. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm surprised this didn't get more rumbles.
But raining, and it's wet, and it was just a sheet of steel. No pleats in it, no nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
And it was like an ice skating rink. And the last thing I wanted to do was go down. And I saw that, and they had no railings, really brilliantly, put up. Whoever.
So you were working with people, and your front people were doing their job, and they coordinated everything beforehand, and you're running a well-oiled machine, and you're a true leader, and your team didn't even think that in rain, if he's going to walk down that ramp at the end, there might need to be. This is a leader of the free world. You wouldn't want to put some tack, stick tack on there, or make sure he's wearing rubber sole shoes. You wouldn't have. Okay.
Whoever put it up.
Yeah, somebody. I don't know. Probably Russia, China.
They ought to be ashamed of themselves. So
They are. Xi Jinping, that ramp, ugh.
I'm next to a general who has big rubber shoes on.
I like wood.
And a good guy, by the way, the common.
He's great. I mean, he's a great man. You can tell by his rubber shoes. This is a terrible two-shot. Absolutely. What is this? What is this shot? Why is there a giant bear? Let's put this plant here. That'll look nice. I mean, honestly, are they socially distancing? It's his daughter-in-law. They don't even wear masks. None of them believe this shit. Why isn't there a table? What is happening? Did he say he'd only do the interview if he can, catch a glimpse up her skirt if she uncrossed? It's weird.
Commandant. And I say, General, I'm not grabbing you, but I may have to grab you because this.
I like wood.
Q snatch.
This is a sheet of ice. So I went down inch by inch like this. I should have just run down the stairs.
You could
They
have.
made such a big deal,
Yeah.
and they never covered my speech. That was, I thought, one of the
The speech was on television. What are you talking about?
best speeches, and they never covered the speech. Never
It is a stage. It's at Mar-a-Lago in one of these. I mean,
even discussed it. I didn't see it. All they do is they have me walking down inch by inch down this ramp.
he's still chafed about this. They keep playing this video of me walking down the ramp. It's fucking aggravating.
I said, the next time have stairs, please.
Yeah, and next time there was none.
And it was one of those things.
Yeah, it was.
But
it was one of those things where you're like, next time, get me some stairs.
they covered that for weeks. And this guy falls down 3 times. He couldn't get up. The 3rd time, he didn't know where the hell he was. And
He managed to go, sorry, did he walk off the edge of the stairs or did he keep going? Oh, he went up, he continued up and he got in the plane? So he clearly knew where he was. What?
It was not on the evening news.
Why wouldn't they make it on the evening news? I can't.
Other than a couple of networks.
Other than a couple of networks.
But it wasn't on ABC, CBS, NBC.
You imagine this asshole flipping channels looking for footage of Biden tripping going up the stairs? By the way, they all played it.
I don't think.
I don't think. I mean, I'm just going to say it as if.
And it got almost no coverage. It's incredible. Now,
it is incredible. It's almost like they were too busy covering the fact that he got a $1.9 trillion AIDS package passed. Right.
Everybody got to see it because one thing, it gets out there one way or the other. But it was actually a pretty sad situation.
Yeah, it was a sad situation. I mean, it's terrible thinking of all the contracts the United States lost because of that situation.
I want to know the truth. It was also sad from the standpoint that we don't have freedom of the press anymore.
We what? We don't have freedom of the press anymore because they won't plaster Biden tripping. They just played it.
Yeah, well, that is for sure.
I mean, I remember when Gerald Ford fell down the stairs. That was such a big deal. Well, actually, it helped ruin his presidency. You want to really know the truth. I think it was really every time.
No, Chevy Chase making a gag out of it on SNL did
Every time
that.
you see him, they show him now falling down the stairs. And with Biden, they don't want to show it at all. It is a
Makes me so mad.
Honest media that we have.
It's terrible, the dishonest media.
Yeah, well, they certainly allow.
I mean, is the argument here that Gerald Ford was a terrible president because he fell down some steps? Is that the argument?
Allowed him to go unchecked throughout the campaign.
We're 6 minutes into this, and they have done. We're almost halfway through this shit, and they haven't gotten off of Biden tripping going up a flight of stairs.
Never called him out on anything. We know that
they don't call him out on not being able to walk stairs in leather shoes on a particular day.
Big tech, social media outlets were censoring things. Jack Dorsey of Twitter just recently said that it was a mistake to censor the Hunter Biden laptop story during the campaign, which we all knew was such a big deal. We all knew could.
Yeah, it was huge. Talk about that for a second. Like the fact that it doesn't exist and that Rudy Giuliani paid $5 million for it when they were only selling it for $3 million, and that he still won't show it to anybody because everybody he has showed it to has said this is fucking fake.
Could be used against the Biden family, Joe Biden, should he ever become president of the United States. But maybe give me your take on where we stand.
Yeah, where are we on you coming back and being magic president by August?
In terms of censorship for conservatives, because we are censored. There is no
question. Like, it's honestly, we create the greatest media. They're this beautiful shot, and they don't want to carry clips of it. They're a daughter-in-law interviewing her ex-president father, who is going to spend almost half the interview bitching about how he actually won the election and Biden trips going up the stairs and it's not plastered all over the news. And I mean, look at the gorgeous media that they are presenting. The media should just interrupt programming and put on this. I mean, this is beautiful. The way it's not quite centered, the way they just fucking put a big planter in the middle of it, the way she looks gigantic and he looks tiny, even though she's 5'11". I don't know what's happening.
No question as conservatives.
None.
We are censored on social media.
You're totally censored just for being conservative.
They are always fact.
It's not, of course, that you're being anti-vaxxers or pushing fraud about the election. It's just that you're conservative. You know what I mean? It's your tax ideas. That
checking everything. I feel like you might have something coming up. I don't know if you're ready to make an announcement yet, but that will.
Why don't you know if you're ready? It's your father-in-law. Or is Eric just not done coming up with what's supposed to be his dad's plan?
Help allow conservatives to have freedom of speech, maybe a possible social media platform.
Well, I think the censoring really, when they didn't show Hunter Biden all of the things that were happening with Hunter, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to get somebody in trouble. He had some difficulties, okay? Yeah. But when they didn't show any of that during the campaign, they just cut it out, like canceled, I guess. You'd call it cancel culture, right?
I see. They canceled the Hunter Biden. I'm sorry. Have you ever seen the laptop from hell or the hard drive that Rudy allegedly has? Because he won't share it with media. You know who canceled it and censored it? Fucking Rudy.
But when they didn't show that, to me, that was really the beginning, because it was bad. It's been fake for a long time.
Yeah, but that was really the beginning of the end. This is the end.
But it used to be fake where they'd come up and I'd come up and you'd fight, or somebody else, but you'd fight.
Yeah, they'd be fake, and then you'd be fake, and then everybody'd be faking, and I'd fake a jab, and then they'd rope-a-dope me, and then I'd have 2 pieces of cake and 2 scoops of ice cream and smear Cheetos on my face and shit my diaper, and then I'd be like dodging and bobbing and weaving.
Fight. And the public can believe one way or the other. They might believe me, they might believe the other side, or they might believe an anchor or whoever's into. But they didn't bring Hunter up. It was just.
They didn't bring Hunter up. God.
Really canceled. And later on, polls came out that showed it would have made a 10-point difference. A 10-point difference. That's a lot of difference.
Amongst who?
To me, that's where it actually began.
If our lies had just managed to get out, it would have manipulated the electorate and in our favor, but damn it.
This new phase, the new phase is you have something and they won't put it out.
That is a new phase that we're going through. It's just a phase, though. The media will grow out of it.
And that's whether it's scandalous or whether it's anything, whether it's just good news. They won't put it out.
Yeah, they don't like good news. It's terrible. Sunshine and rainbows. If it bleeds, it leads.
And
unless it's like, if you get a Care Bear or something like that.
It's a very interesting time. Now, we're getting it out. I'm getting word out by using press releases. I put it out by a press release, and everybody's picking it up.
Yeah.
It's more elegant.
It's totally elegant. Oh, my God. Yeah, so let's see. Trump. Let's see the elegance, shall we? Trump press release. Let's see. Polish new press release. Donald J. There we go. What's the latest one? Statement from Donald J. It's the Save America PAC. Are they in order? What's happening? Safe Harbor deadline. New video promoting Iowa caucus. Attention. Okay. Statement from January. Okay. This is the This is elegant. I would agree. Let's look at how elegant this is, guys. Statement from President Donald J. Trump, former, but yeah, okay. The New York Times report regarding comments Vice President supposedly made to me today is fake news. He never said that. The Vice President and I are in total agreement that the Vice President has the power to act. The November 3rd election was corrupt and correct. Okay. Totally elegant. Way better than Twitter.
As a president, et cetera, et cetera. To me, it's more elegant. I think it's getting the word out about the same. You do less of it because it's a little bit, and you can do longer. You can make it a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's the great thing about press releases. Is they don't have to be 240 characters.
Not that it should be that much longer. Usually, it doesn't have to be too much longer, but you can do it longer. And
yeah, you can. I think, and
deeper and longer.
Yeah, I think that's the key.
I like wood.
Q snatch.
Transvestites.
I think we're getting the word out. And in addition, I'm looking.
The word is getting out. The words are getting out. Not as many words, but sometimes more words. But you don't need more words. Fucking hell. We're 8 minutes and 37 seconds into this bullshit.
That everybody wants me to be on the site because we had 90 million people on one. We had, I think, 36 million people on POTUS. We had sites of 10.
They're the same people.
He's
going to be on Frank.
That doesn't include Facebook. And then we had one of the
Now, why would it include Facebook?
biggest on Facebook, maybe the biggest, but one of the biggest on Facebook. So we had, 200 million people, I guess, or more.
Mm-hmm.
If you add up all the different sites and pretend they don't overlap at all, Like, what kind of an asshole thinks that way?
So everybody wants me to go in their site because the problem is they have.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, totally. Trump, I would love to do an interview with you. I can't promise the same production value. I can't look like you're, you know, in a French aristocracy birthday cake with a plant between the two of us, where I at 5'9" look, you know, a foot taller than you. I can't promise that, but I'll try.
They have sites, but they have no people. And
yeah, just shit on you, Parler.
Twitter has gotten very boring.
It is. It's so boring now.
Because I can see Twitter anytime.
Because you're
I want.
gone. They miss you.
Well, it's said
No one misses them. It's actually quite nice.
to have gotten very boring, and a lot of people are leaving Twitter. But it's
right-wing psychopaths, and they're being shown the door.
it's become boring and really not. The point of view is terrible, and people are leaving Twitter. A lot of people are leaving Twitter. So I think there's room for something, and I bring a lot of people.
Yeah, you'll bring a lot of people with you.
With me, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, who knows? I mean, in a couple weeks.
I must tell you, I love what we're doing now. I'll put a statement or two out, or 3 or 5, but
or 12.
I'll do them in a day.
3 or 5 statements a day.
And I'll just dictate something out, write it out, put it out, and I do it in the form of a press release. It gets picked up by everybody.
Yeah, it's so great. The comment sections are the best.
So maybe we don't even need social media. You're gonna.
Yeah, maybe you don't even need it. I would recommend staying away from it entirely. I'm sorry this shot is this shit. I gotta shrink this down a little bit because her head is getting lost behind it. Because apparently, this is like, you know how Zach Galifianakis had between two ferns? This is like on either side of an iris, or I don't know if that's real or not. On either side of a fake plane.
I don't think we do, and I may be wrong, but I don't think we do. But I think social media has become so corrupt that people aren't believing it anymore, really.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there was so much to believe, you know.
I mean, a lot of it has become very corrupt. It's really become like the media itself, very corrupt.
That's true.
We don't have.
It is true. Thanks for bringing. Sorry, an orchid. Yeah, beg your pardon. An orchid between two morons, right?
Freedom of the press anymore. You know, we had freedom of the press, and it's a terrible thing to say, but we really don't
I don't think it's a real orchid, though.
have freedom of the press anymore. We have a corrupt press with a point of view, and that's all they want to do is sell the point of view. And
But enough about Fox and Newsmax and OAN.
why they want to sell it, because when you think of it, defund the police, open borders. Look at our borders. Look what's happening. We had the borders the best they've ever been.
Oh, God, here we go.
The wall.
COVID had the borders, quote unquote, the best they've ever been. And just having the people on the other side of the border, like children starving, is not impressive.
Could have been finished in a very short period of time, a matter
Totally. I mean, it's almost,
of weeks. Just close up the little sections that we
yeah, it's those little sections they keep pouring through, except they don't.
had to leave open to bring equipment back, et cetera, and
Back from where?
the wall could have been finished so quickly. The wall is the best thing. We built almost 500 miles of wall, and it's been a
Well, 25.
tremendous success. And all they have to do is finish
If it's a tremendous success, then why do we have a problem?
it up. Now you can put security there, and you have it fine. But the wall is better than anything you can do.
Well, apparently not. If it's worse than it's ever been and the wall is up now.
It's really worked. But we have the best southern border in terms of what we're talking about that we've ever had.
And yet we don't.
And in one day, he said, "Everybody come up."
Did he say everybody come up? Did he?
And once he said that, and what's going on now is nothing compared to what's going to take place during the summer. During the summer,
No, actually, the numbers go down during the summer.
you're going to see things that nobody's ever seen before.
Like an asteroid hitting the Earth? What do you mean?
It's very upsetting. Very
Templeton,
hard
very
to
thank you
see.
so
dangerous.
much. Thank you so much. Hold on. You guys are lovely today. Thank you, Templeton. Gotta keep Kachinko and smash that. Yeah, don't. In honor of Templeton Zagat, please smash the like, give a thumbs up.
And it's very bad for our country.
One day, if we work very hard and I reach 1,000 patrons and we get to kind of some level of a nose above water in doing the show regularly, I will be able to afford great production value like this. Me and a plastic orchid and a guest 6 feet apart while we don't, when my guest and I both apparently don't believe we need to be.
And they're destroying our country.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, by the way, that we're allowing illegal immigrants to pour over our southern border, it seems like the woke left is focused more on things like canceling Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, bring it. Thank you. We're 11 minutes in and we hadn't brought up Mr. Potato Head yet.
Canceling Dr. Seuss books.
Yeah, I wrote, did you guys write the letter to get the Dr. Seuss books canceled? Because I was late to the game and I was like, oh, I'm so glad. Oh.
Than actually doing things that are going to positively impact the American people. Meanwhile, our adversaries.
Well, thanks, babe. Food arrived.
Like China.
Oh my God, that thing is enormous.
Yeah, that's what I brought you a knife.
And a fork and a, yeah.
I got a fish taco too.
All right. Thanks, my love. She brought me my girl brought me a burrito. Today is apparently burrito day, according to my son, so we have to have burritos.
Time to build up their economies, to do things for their people. How do you think we're being viewed right now around the world, whether by our adversaries or our allies?
Yeah.
How do you think the United States is
regarded
right now?
We look terrible standing in the world. I mean, they're laughing at us. They have to be laughing at us, right?
I think that they can't believe what's happening. They don't believe it. They don't.
Yeah, they're overjoyed and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe it. This bloviated asshole has, served one term, got impeached twice, and now he's talking to his own daughter-in-law on a shitty show with an orchid between the two."
Can you imagine China looking at us and they're talking about Dr. Seuss, and that was like the big thing of the day?
Do you realize that China doesn't allow, oh, thank you, Aggie. You do realize one of the books that was canceled is one that had basically a racist depiction of a Chinese person in it, and that's one of the reasons why the Dr. Seuss company decided to take it out. Nobody wrote a fucking letter. China censors books all the time.
But it's long beyond Dr. Seuss. They want to.
Yeah, it is. We're already, are there any books anymore?
Take down monuments to heroes. They want to get rid of our history, obliterate our great history. Whether it's
and by our great history, he means Robert E. Lee.
It's good or bad, you learn from it. You have to.
Yeah, you must put up monuments to Hitler and Mussolini and Stalin because that's the only way you're going to learn from history. We don't teach it in school anymore, so you have to have. With Plainty, Hal Plainty, thank you.
Learn from history.
Right.
And some is bad, and some is good.
And you need to have a statue for the bad stuff.
I would say most of it's good, but they want to obliterate our past. And once you do that, you don't have much of a country left. I think that China is very happy now, and I think that Russia and a lot of other countries are very happy. They're looking at what's going on, and they don't believe it.
What are they happy about? They've been trying to get rid of those Robert E. Lee statues forever.
Yeah, it's very scary. I think for a lot of Americans, they don't know where we will be ultimately. I think they felt.
Yeah, I don't know where we'll be. It's like we've all collectively as a country tripped falling up the stairs, and now I don't know where I am.
Very safe with you as president.
Yeah, I felt safe, but largely because I don't have a pussy.
Q-snatch.
You protected our country, whether it was our southern border, whether it was standing up around the world to people that meant us ill.
Not Russia, obviously. You kissed his ass every time, and you always gave him the bottom of your hand. You gave him the palm up.
And now we don't really know where we are. I want to move on.
Yeah, I don't know where you are. Are you at a French elementary school? Where the fuck are you?
On to something.
By the way, built the strongest military.
Yes.
The strongest military.
We rebuilt the military. We have a military now.
It's a 10-year budget. We haven't even gotten close to it. What are you talking about? And you sold a bunch of shit.
Like we've never had before. The equipment is the best, all made in the USA.
F-35 is made in 6 different countries.
We have Space Force. We did so much. Biggest tax cuts in history.
No. Again, not true. Please do the VA, just so I can, for old time, just for old time's sake, I want to bring up the 2014 VA Choice Act.
Biggest regulation cuts in history.
Not true either.
And that's why the base is so strong right now. That's why the base of the country, our base is strong, but the base of the country is strong. The foundation is strong. Right. And that's why it can do so well, where we have the highest stock market we've ever had. But that's going to erode, just like energy.
Oh, so we have you did great stuff and it created a great foundation, but the foundation's going to erode because you say so? Because people have been taking their winnings out of the stock market, but it started back up again today.
We're energy independent. In 3 months from now, we won't be energy independent.
Okay, start the clock. It is now April 1st. So by July 1st, we're not going to be, in theory, we're not going to be energy independent. Good to know.
Because of what they're doing. And they never talked about this. They never said this. In fact, they said the opposite. They really lied during the campaign a lot about a lot of things.
Like what?
I did. Well, we see gas prices already starting to go up, so it's already starting.
Yeah, now that people are using their cars again.
Very substantially.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to ask, because people ask me this too, will we ever be able to attend another Trump rally?
Is that what they ask you?
Oh, yeah, sure. I think so.
Yeah.
In fact, we're thinking about doing one relatively soon, just to let
kick the dust off,
everybody know that there's hope in the future. Look, when you look at what's happening to our country.
Because you got to run, if you're going to create this bullshit that you're going to run in 2024, you have to actually spend some of the money or people are going to stop sending you cash. So basically, these are they're not rallies so much as little mini live telethons.
Country with all of the ideas and things. When you look at these Democrat-run cities where the crime is up 300, 400, 500%, and they don't do anything about it.
Yeah, what's the actual number again? I mean, 300, 400, 500%. You're pulling that out of your ass, but what's the actual number? Do we go from 12 to 45 because people are going back to normal life and all that kind of stuff is happening? You mean that kind of thing? By the way, the Democrat-run cities, the ones that generate the most money for the entire economy, you mean those?
Shootings, killings, murders, rapes, they're up to 200%, 250%. No, it's a shame. What's going on is just...
yeah, Florida's a shithole.
Very sad. Democrat-run cities.
Yeah.
And now, if you have a Democrat-run country, what's going to happen?
It's going to be, rape is going to go up 250% now that, I guess, its biggest cheerleader is no longer in office?
It's bad.
So we might be able...
It is bad. It's bad. It's bad. Thanks for bringing it up, though.
...able to attend a Trump rally.
Sure. I love doing it.
Yeah, of course. Anyways, rape and murder and stuff, but Trump rallies, yeah, totally.
But more importantly, I think we get the word out. That's incredible.
We had a great foundation, but within 60 days, anybody who wants can clearly get across the border without any hesitation whatsoever.
When we have rallies, if you won a state. Yeah, I can tell if we're going to win a state by a rally.
Apparently not.
When we set up a rally 24 hours before and we have 35,000, 40,000 people show up, in Florida we had 55,000. In Butler, Pennsylvania, we had 52,000. When you have 52,000 people show up quickly for a rally, and they got there for 4 days, you set it up 4 or 5 days early.
It's almost like your followers have nothing to do. By the way, you do realize that, Nickelback does these kind of numbers, and they charge admission.
And the people line up 4 days in advance. They stay in tents and things. It's the most incredible thing. And you get there, you leave.
Yeah, it's a cult, Donnie.
You say, there's no way I lost Pennsylvania. There's no way.
Yeah, there is.
No way you can lose Pennsylvania. And we didn't, by the way.
Yeah, you did.
We didn't.
Yes, you did.
So, it was a hoax. The whole thing was a hoax. And it's too bad, but...
yeah, it's just too bad.
These rallies are great.
Yeah, they're great. They're totally great. It's like a dipstick for dipsticks.
It's never been anything.
You just pull it out and go, oh, yeah, We got, I don't know if that's oil or tar, but I mean, it's up there on the line. Shouldn't you wipe it and then dip it again? No. You're just pulling it out. Look how much there's oil. There's this much oil in the engine. Well, and the mark's down here. Well, you're supposed to wipe it off and then put it back. No. It's
Anything. I think we did 56 of them in a short number of days, and they're big. That's not easy to do.
No.
When
no, it's very difficult.
you think of, you do 3 a day, 4 a day in some cases, and the last couple of days, I think we did 5.
I was with you for a lot of those.
Right, 5.
Yeah, and they were really depressing and weak and lame and boring and I'm bringing my food over here because why not?
And then you go home and you watch the results, and at 10:30 the election was over, we won, and then at 3 o'clock in the morning, you say, what happened?
God damn, this dude just rambles the same shit. You know what I mean? This is almost like the rallies, I gotta say. This is almost exactly like the rallies, just bloviating the same crap over and over. Yeah, I don't know that he knows who she is.
And then you look at these massive dumps where you're going,
Massive dumps.
you look at the votes, and then you have these massive dumps. No, it was a corrupt, fraudulent election.
It's like he wanders around Mar-a-Lago as like a ghost. It was stolen from me, Jacob Marley.
Well, that brings me to my final question
Thank God.
for you. The beginning of this interview, I said, this is one thing everyone always asks me. The other question people all want to know, and I know you're not ready to answer it yet, but do we have hope that there's a possibility to see Donald Trump run again in 2024?
You do have hope.
No, he's saying that because he can't raise money unless he says yes.
That I can tell you. You do have hope. We love our country. This country.
Please run again. Please run again. Please. He's not going to run again. Please run again. Please run again.
We all owe a lot to our country, but now we have to help our country.
Yeah, we got to help it, by trying to undermine it at every turn and not wearing masks and not getting vaccinated and.
And we were there. We were so good. What we did with Iran, what we did with China, we were all set to do some great things. And
yeah, in a couple of weeks, that healthcare plan, mwah.
And then you see what's going on right now. China treated our representatives last week in Alaska with such tremendous disrespect. They never talked to me that way. You look at North Korea. I got along with Kim Jong-un. And for 4 years, we had no problem. I mean, I was told.
No, they just built their missiles and created more nukes and launched shit. Yeah, there's no problem.
By President Obama and everybody else that North Korea was our biggest problem. We're going to end up in war with North Korea if that group stayed in. And for 4 years, we had no problem with North Korea. Now, all of a sudden, you see the problem is starting again. No, we have a great country. We have to help our country.
And so we may see a Trump run again in 2024. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I want to say thank you.
Yes, stay tuned for more of the excellent programming. 2 assholes and an orchid.
Thank you so much for joining us here. We are honored. You were the first. This is the first interview you have done on camera since you left office.
It's so weird. I don't even know how she even. She got the number. Look at him. She's like, this is the first one you've gotten.
Did call in a favor for
Like he just Eric, really? Is this the first one I've done on camera? Shit.
this one directly from you. So thank you for joining us. And we hope that you will come back soon. And we hope
I did call in a favor directly from you. Why did he owe you a favor?
to hear from you on either a press release or a social media outlet very soon.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll see you in a little while.
I'll see you in a little, because we're going to be, like, after the interview, we go back to being father-in-law, daughter-in-law, I think. Christ. There's definitely a very distinct, like, CBN Pat Robertson thing happening with him.
And for 4 years, we had no problem with North Korea. Now, all of a sudden, you see the problem is starting again. No, we have a great country. We have to help our country.
And so we may see a Trump run again in 2024. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I want to say thank you so much for joining us here. We are honored. You were the first. This is the first interview you have done on camera since you left office. I did call.
Oh, like he doesn't even know. Look at his face. He doesn't even know this is his first on-camera interview.
In a favor for this one directly.
So why did you wait longer. If Biden not doing a press conference is a big deal, why did you wait this long to do an on-camera interview?
From you. So thank you for joining us. And we hope that you will come back soon, and we hope to hear from you on either a press release or a social media outlet very soon.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll see you in a little while.
Oh, God. I'm shocked that didn't get more rumbles. Seriously, a third of that was, why don't they cover Biden running up the stairs? I went up a ramp and everybody bothered me about it. I'm having a bite of this taco because it looks fantastic. Now, oh God. Sorry, I got an iron constitution. I'll be all right. I just got yipe. Yeah, completely creepy as an interview, complete waste of time. And the fact that it was in, I mean, that sums up everything. What is that? None of these assholes believe in COVID. They've all had the vaccine, right? Why is he just doing this because they're attempting to look like he's still president and they've got to watch out for his health? I'm taking another bite of this. It's actually really excellent. All right. Even Hank Kuhneman has a fake studio. Exactly, Karate Joe. I don't get it. All right. This is short at least. But part of what's going on, yeah, oh, mad hangry, that's what it is. This is my one meal a day, that's right. Okay, you guys know I have a chip on my shoulder about production value, which this obviously aggravates the living shit out of me. Not as bad as Mike Lindell's studio, but this is bad. I'm going to room rate half these assholes by the end of this show. Then, maybe that's why they were separated. Some people in the chat are like, I bet he touched her. Maybe she insisted on the distance. There might be reasoning behind this. This might be the smartest move that Lara Trump has ever made. No. I'm not going to be within knee tapping distance. Forget it. This his kind of semi-vertical, do the thing, release it on YouTube, but it's really for Insta, kind of thing. But vaccine passports are a passport of tyranny. Of. I'm probably the only person hanging on this stupid shit. Of tyranny. Passport to tyranny. Passport to tyranny. Right? Of? What the? Of. Just aggravating. Yeah, he's gross. But let's all listen to his warning because none of us know how dangerous it is.
Conservatives and Republicans are in an uproar over the Biden administration's plan to develop vaccine passports.
Okay, so the Biden administration's plan to develop vaccine passports. Remember that phrase because I have a feeling it's going to be important.
Vaccine passports. Now,
oh, he said vaccine passports already. So
the idea of a vaccine passport is, related to the idea of a passport itself.
Oh, I see. All right. So it's a passport, you're saying? Fucking hell.
Passport gives you permission to do things. It gives you permission to go places.
No, it doesn't. It's an ID that if borders will not allow people without identification to come through, it provides that necessary identification. A passport is not permission to travel. A passport is necessary to travel because the people at the borders or at companies that would take the passports or countries that would take the passports, they cannot let you in if you don't have proper identification. It's kind of like voter ID or something. I don't know.
It gives you permission to
No, it doesn't. Passports don't give you permission. A visa gives you permission, dickhead.
enter. And with
It doesn't give you passport. God damn, this is dumb. It doesn't give you permission to enter. Not even close. Thank you. Paul's in Europe. He knows.
without a passport, you can't.
Without a passport, you can't, because you don't have identification to show whether you're a citizen or not, or where you're coming from, or in fact, if you're going to try and stay or any of that. They don't know who the shit you are. You might need a diaper change.
Now, most Americans, interestingly enough, don't have passports.
We're not proud.
Why? Because this is a free country. You
Yeah, that's why. You don't have a passport. It's not because we're lazy and we don't travel, and a vast majority of Americans can't afford foreign travel at all. I mean, not all of us can be Ted Cruz. Think of the weight we'd have to gain.
should be able to move around and travel in the country and do business and go on vacation without somebody asking you to, quote, produce your papers.
That's because we're in our own fucking country. That's true of every goddamn country. We do have driver's licenses, though, and they are related to the state that we live in. Does that... Oh, right, sorry.
That's almost something that you see in third world countries.
No, it isn't. Third world countries do not have papers, please laws. They don't give a shit. That's what makes them a third world country. They don't give a fuck where you're from.
Tyrannical countries, countries where sort of authentication is a prerequisite to being able to even function normally in your ordinary life.
Yeah, you mean like driver's licenses or voter IDs. Like if you want to just, you've got the right to vote. And it's terrible if somebody would want you to have to produce papers or an ID. I'm having this lad, man. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm.
By and large, we haven't had to do that in this country.
State IDs, state driver's licenses, college IDs, key cards to get into businesses, by and large.
Now, very interestingly, the people who are pushing vaccine passports,
They are pushing vaccine passports. They're pushing, don't forget, they're pushing it. So, okay,
for Americans are the
for Americans.
same people
Uh-huh.
who don't want voter ID. These
Are they now?
are the same people who don't want identification and proper procedures at the border. So they're loose with the border, and they're loose with voting, but evidently they want all Americans to show
Well, I don't know that of anybody who's ever died from catching border. Just saying.
proof of vaccination in the form of this kind of either government issued or government coordinated.
Well, that would kind of be an important distinction, wouldn't it? Government issued or government coordinated, meaning that companies or other countries are requiring it, therefore the government is coordinating with making it possible for you to have one, versus one that's ordained or mandated by the government or made available. There's actually 3 tiers in this. You must have it to do all things. You must have it to do some things. You might need it for all things, or you might need it for some things, and therefore we'll provide it to you if you do need it, but it's not mandatory.
Passport. Now, for me,
Is it a passport, though?
the idea of a vaccine passport brings up some sort of chilling historical.
Paul Newman, thank you. I've tried to tell you to think about it, but YouTube don't let. We all love Hal. Oh, thanks so much. And thank you to our European allies who sadly will be staring down the barrel of our evil vaccine passports when we come visit you very soon. I'm coming to Italy. I'm coming to Scotland. I'm going to get over there. I'm going to get up into the Northern European countries as well. I'm going to go to Sweden and Norway. I'm set on it.
Historical parallels. When I was filming Death of a Nation a couple of years ago,
Yeah, you mean, didn't the country die, though?
I was in Germany, in Munich,
And yeah, Germany's dead. I don't even, is it still there? Is Germany still there?
there's this huge plot sets called the Odeon plots. 4 gigantic lions. I'll put up a little clip in a moment so you can...
Yeah, put up the clip so we can see it. I don't believe you. 4 giant lions. What kind of bullshit is this?
See. This was a major Nazi checkpoint.
All right. So you had to go visit it? Did you come?
Take a look.
He's playing Hitler in the background while he's looking at the...
So this is just...
Why didn't you play the whole thing? Hitler was just starting to get interesting. What?
Just an image here of these
Oh, I'm coming to England as well, Catherine.
4 lions, and the Nazis used this as a spot, a kind of central location, to check everybody.
What'd they check them for?
And of course, they had special mechanisms for checking the Jews. They
Well, yeah, they had actually a speculum rubber gloves.
wanted the Jews to be identified so they could then be segregated into ghettos, their rights denied.
Yeah, like vaccine ghettos. They checked all the Jews for a polio shot on their arm, right? That was what it was.
And so on.
That's how they knew.
And so this is the historical backdrop of this notion of marking, identifying, tattooing, and you may say passporting citizens.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't actually. I would say branding. It's quite different.
Not traveling between one country and another, but within the country itself. I think the reason that Americans are concerned and even outraged about this is it is...
Am I concerned? Or am I outraged? I guess I'm more outraged.
Such a preposterous...
Concert rage. I'm gonna go to a raging concert. Ooh. Remind me not to forget my my passport, my vaccine passport, so I can go to the raging concert.
Overreaction to the COVID
Thanks, JP202. I do like it.
situation as it is now.
Yeah.
Think about it. The risk
Okay.
of dying from COVID today in pretty much any age group, and this is without being vaccinated, is essentially less than 1%. It is infinite.
No, it is not. It is not infinitely less than 1%. Because we were locked down for a fucking year, dumbass. If you let it roll, you're talking about 2.5 to 5 million dead people and a constant rolling number of that like the flu. Because if you never vaccinate against it and it just keeps rolling through the society, you look at whereas the flu kills 70,000 people or less a year, we're talking about 2.5 to 5 million people killed every fucking year. It's like this whole like schools haven't been a major place where transmission has happened. Yeah, because they've been closed for the most part, dummy.
Infinitesimal. You have a 99% chance of survival, and that's without being vaccinated. Now let's imagine a situation.
Which is, by the way, for the record, according to Dinesh's statistics, which I'll just, for the sake of debate, I'll cop to that they're real for the argument. You have buying a gun raises your chance of dying by that gun astronomically. So while Dinesh is making this an anti-vaccine passport diatribe, it should not be lost on anyone that this also qualifies as an anti-gun debate that he is making right now. He is saying, whatever you do, statistically speaking, don't buy a gun because your chances of being killed with it killed by a gun go up astronomically if you own one. And so, therefore, don't buy a gun according to Dinesh D'Souza. Thanks, Dinesh. Go ahead.
Situation where somebody is not vaccinated and they want to travel on an airplane or they want to go into a store. Now,
no one's saying that about stores.
First of all, no one is saying that private companies, like a private store, couldn't
because that's what's actually happening. Okay.
Say, hey, listen, you have to wear a mask if you come into our store, but if you can show proof of vaccination of any form, then you don't have to wear a mask. We're not.
So football games and concerts and all that kind of shit, and that's exactly right. But so a laminated plastic copy of your vaccine card would be really helpful, or maybe a digital one you can hold on your phone that's verifiable, like a QR code that you can track it using your healthcare plan, not maybe a government site, but your own healthcare plan might give you a QR code that says, yes, you indeed have been vaccinated. They verified it, so you don't just lie and say, I don't want to wear a mask. Yeah, I was vaccinated.
We're not objecting to the private sector taking individual decisions of this kind.
You mean like airplanes? Like all airlines? You mean like airlines? So you're not objecting to airlines insisting on people being vaccinated, being able to show it via some sort of, I don't know, documentation they carry with them, but making everybody else wear a mask if they don't have said documentation, or flat out saying you can't come in. You're not against that? Because I'm gathering from the beginning of this bullshit that you're kind of against this. And by the way, somebody just said it in the chat room, and I said this 2 days ago, and I've been talking about this, yes. Cruise ships, Lisa Jordan, absolutely. This is all about cruise ships. That's why Florida is having such a hard time arguing against it, because cruise ships, you're gonna need a fucking vaccine card. I mean, if they could have a vaccine card for diarrhea, they would have it. So,
what we're objecting to is sort of the government's idea that, hey, if you don't have a vaccine passport, you shouldn't be able to do normal things. And
well, Dinesh, Booby, you don't do normal things. So I don't know what you're worried about.
say, why not? Why shouldn't you be able to do normal things? You might say,
like, what? Define normal.
well, that's because you have a risk of transmitting the disease to someone else. Yeah, but if vaccines are widely available, and if every American is free to take and get a vaccine, what's there to complain about? There might be
because they haven't gotten it yet, and for a good portion of time, this would not be forever, obviously. But until the pandemic is under control, and it's going to be, the rest of the world is going to be dealing with it for a long time, and let's say you don't get the vaccine, you're like, screw it, but you like to go, I don't know, shoot exotic animals in the head while they're staked down in Kenya, and they haven't gotten the vaccine, has reached any kind of permeate level in Africa, and you bring it back and you kill members of your fucking family. That would be the concern. I mean,
be people who are exposed, but they're the people who have chosen not to take the vaccine. They're willing to take that risk. Why should the...
Yeah, but you're not taking a risk. You're spreading a risk. Just because the risk of dying of it for you might be low, and it might not be. That's the other fucked up part, is that a bunch of these assholes, before they say goodbye to their family, are like, tell everybody I was an asshole for not believing this was dangerous.
Should the government step in and protect them from their own choices?
No, protect other people from their own choices. You're not protecting that asshole. I don't give a fuck. If you want to die of it, that's your ass. But you could carry it to someone else. Asymptomatic transfer is the primary way it gets around. That's how the death toll spikes up to 2.5 to 5 million uncontrolled. How fucking honestly?
It's very clear that this vaccine passport is a mechanism of social control.
No, it isn't. It is a mechanism of pandemic control. And I would like to point out where it is. Here it goes. This is from the New York Times, and this is what he's, all these guys are citing, by the way. Coming soon, the vaccine passport. In the near future, travel may require digital documentation showing that passengers have been vaccinated or tested for the coronavirus. Answers to your questions. Among governments, plural, wait a minute, there are other countries besides America? What? If I'm American, I don't have to answer to other governments when I fly in. I just go, fuck you, Spain, I'm here. And those in the travel industry, a new term has entered the vocabulary, vaccine passport. One of President Biden's executive orders aimed at curbing the pandemic asks government agencies to assess the feasibility. Wait a minute. This doesn't sound nearly tyrannical enough. I voted for tyranny. And what is this assess the feasibility bullshit? You dictate it, you force people to take it, and if they won't take it, you put them in a goddamn camp. Didn't you see the lions in the Hitler speech? Assess the feasibility of linking, forcing, say forcing, of linking. coronavirus vaccine certificates with other vaccination documents and producing digital versions of them. Just like Hitler. Denmark's government, Denmark? Where's Denmark? Is that in Iowa? Said in early February that in the next 3 to 4 months, it will roll out a digital passport that will allow citizens to show that they have been vaccinated. So if you want to go to fucking Denmark, you did it. Okay. It would be nice if your government presented you with the ability to carry something digitally on you that allowed you to go to Denmark. Because Denmark's going to have this rule. And it isn't just governments. Oh, wait a minute. It isn't? That are suggesting vaccine passports. Etihad Airways and Emirates are planning to start using a digital travel pass developed by the International Air Transport Association, clearly a fascist organization started by Himmler, to help passengers manage their travel plans and provide airlines and government documentation that they have been vaccinated or tested for COVID-19. Challenge right now is creating a document or app that is accepted around the world that protects privacy and... that what? That protects privacy? I don't want it to be private that I'm from America. What do you think my eagle tattoo's about? Is accessible to people regardless of their wealth or access to smartphones. So, obviously tyranny. I mean, I don't have to tell you. But please tell us, again, something Nazi lions and horses and something.
Here's a guy named Harry Litman. He's an
Oh, shit. Not Harry Lippman. Who's Harry Lippman?
editor of the LA Times.
Oh, he's an editor of the LA Times. I see. Okay.
He kind of spells out the rationale. He goes, vaccine passports are a good idea. Will single out the still large contingent of people who refuse vaccines, who will be foreclosed from doing a lot of things their peers can do.
Right, and doing stuff their peers can't do, like spread the fucking measles.
That should help break the resistance down.
Oh, that's what it is. It's about breaking your resistance down. Instead of it being a privilege to go to a concert or something because you've participated in society, it's kind of like at some point, I mean, first it'll be vaccine passports. Next thing you know, you'll have to wear shoes and a shirt and pants to go in a business.
So this is what we're getting into. The idea of trying to strong...
Yeah, I'm sick of big shoes and big shirt trying to force me to get dressed when I go to the store.
Arm people and bully them, cajole them. It's not enough to tell them what the risks are and let them exercise their freedom responsibly.
They're not exercising their freedom responsibly, dickhead. They're abdicating their responsibility. They don't care if they get it or they spread it. So fuck off.
The idea here is to make them.
No, it isn't to make them. It's not to make them. It's to, if they want to do this other shit that the rest of us are doing in a way that is safe and won't kill anyone, then they're going to have to participate in that part. If they're the kind of person who would, spread the measles around school, schools have a right to know that their kids are going to bring measles into the school possibly.
This COVID epidemic has been politicized from day one. It's been politicized in a way by the Democrats, but it's been...
Yeah, they're politicizing it. That's what they're doing. We're politicizing it.
Politicized also by the CDC, by the World...
Yeah, by the Nonpartisan Center for Disease Control.
World Health Organization.
Oh, the clearly Democratic World Health Organization.
So part of the reason we're so resistant to all these measures is we don't trust the establishment.
No, it isn't. It has nothing to do with the fucking establishment. The reason you're not doing it is because you believe some fantastical idea that Satan and the mark of the beast will enter your body through nanobots from vaccines. You're a fucking moron.
We don't trust these institutions. We don't trust the government.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you did. When Trump was running shit, yeah, if he told you to put a light bulb up your ass and pour fish tank cleaner down your throat because it's the cheapest form of hydroxychloroquine you could dig up, people lined up to do it. Don't tell me about trusting the government, you culty bastard.
Quite frankly, if Trump had been reelected and Trump said, hey, listen, I've just got this idea for a vaccine passport. It's not going to be a government-run thing, but essentially the
you fuckers would have gotten it tattooed on your forehead.
basic idea here is that it essentially frees you from other types of restrictions like mask requirements and so on. Most people would have said, well, yeah, that's probably fine. So what I'm getting at here is
What? What are you getting at?
frees you from other types
Hold on.
these institutions. We don't trust the government. Quite frankly, if Trump had been reelected and Trump said, hey, listen, I've just got this idea for a vaccine passport. It's not going to be a government-run thing, but essentially the basic idea here is that it essentially frees you from other types of restrictions like mask requirements and so on. Most people would have said, well, yeah, that's probably fine. So what I'm getting at here is I think that a lot of the
That's exactly what the Biden administration and Denmark and airlines and cruise ships are talking about. What the fuck?
anxiety about the vaccine passport is who's doing it.
I see. So if Trump had, again, we don't trust the government unless Trump is running it, in which case, if he'd have said it was for this and it's exactly like what they're saying it is, we would trust it. By the way, these are the same assholes who are not taking the vaccine because they think it's going to put demonic nanobots in your bloodstream, which of course it does, because Trump invented it.
We're living at a time where we don't trust basic institutions. We don't trust.
No, we aren't. We are not. We are not. I trust basic institutions. And so do you. Because wherever the fuck he shoots this nonsense, I guarantee he's driven in the last week, and he trusted that every other driver would stay on the other side of the yellow line. He didn't drive around in a fucking panic the entire time going, I don't trust any of these assholes. Like, what kind of fidgety dickhead are you in every circumstance? Do you trust stop signs? Do you trust stop lights? Do you trust the freeway system and cloverleafs? Yeah, sure. It says it's going east, but clearly it's asking me to go west. You know, like, what the hell?
Don't trust academia. Why? Because it's indoctrination. We don't
trust academia because it's indoctrination. Meanwhile, everybody that they're bringing on is supposedly an expert, and the dude that, because they have degrees, and the dude that Mike Lindell used yesterday is a physics teacher.
trust the media. Why? Because it's not news. It's ideologically spun opinion. We don't trust.
Dude, you are the media. This is media. You're on YouTube.
Hollywood. We don't trust the
By the way, you know how you can tell that someone is buying supporters, buying followers for their channel, or they become part of a network that buys followers and basically automatically attaches those followers? This is how you can tell. 603,000 subscribers. I'm just saying, thumbs up, like, subscribe. What do I have to do? But 11,608 views. Over 500,000 subscribers, 11,000 people actually watched this reach around.
The FBI. Why? Because they're not meting out equal justice under the law. This is
Yeah, they let Trump get away with a ton of shit.
politically motivated prosecutions. And so for the same reason, we don't trust the Biden administration. Why? Because
he's a Democrat and his VP's a brown woman.
the vaccine passport for them isn't just about the vaccine. It isn't just about protecting you.
It's about feasibility studies.
Ultimately a form of social control.
90 million people.
Christ, that's boring. Ugh. All right, so we'll talk about devil shoes in a second.
So 12 rules.
Hold on, wait.
Which one
Why
do
are
you find
playing
the
this?
hardest to
I don't
follow
want you
yourself?
to play it. I don't care. We're past that part. I don't care what his book is called. All right, this dude. Seriously, I laughed at the title of this, and that's what, like, the picture on the thumbnail literally made me laugh out loud. This is why I need to do this. Of course, this is a Newsmax clip. This is Chris Sansalaba Shahal. I don't know, what is it. The title is America Last. I'm already sick of it. Chris Salcido. I'm sick of it. I'm already sick of it. 1.8 million subscribers. 39,000 views. 1.8. You starting to get the idea that they're buying followers, subscribers. They pay for subscribers. And then God knows they pay for watch farms. But, all right. I just want to hear him tell us why he's so mad.
Evening, everybody. Welcome to the Chris Salcedo
Hi, Chris Salcedo. I mean, you need more screens.
Show here on Newsmax TV. Americans are in a growing sense of unease as
Yeah, I know. As more brown people show up at the border. Brown children. You know, the thing about brown children is they last longer than brown grown-ups.
the policies of the America Last political party, the Socialist Democrats, they're starting to take hold.
The Socialist Democrats didn't win. The Democratic Socialists lost during, literally, like a centrist just ran away with it.
In record-breaking time, the people
Oh man, it was the record.
who rejected
No, this is is he on? Oh, no, he's on Newsmax. This is Nudes. And by the way, don't forget to go to nudesmax.com and subscribe to my YouTube channel.
America First are doing real and lasting damage to the people they were allegedly elected to represent. America Last. I'm already sick and tired of it.
Yeah, tell us. America Last. I'm already sick and tired of it. You can tell because I typed it up and I put it in my thing. What is with the helium voices on these guys? Seriously, him, Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, they're all like, they all got, like, loosen the fuck up.
That's the message in tonight's preamble.
It's totally the preamble to the Constitution. See, I use constitutional language.
Before we begin to detail
Wait, is this Chris Salcedo's show?
all the misery and
I couldn't tell because the blurry thing's up in the corner over there.
Americanism the Democrats are pushing onto undeserving Americans.
Are there deserving Americans they're pushing it onto? I just need to know if they're, where I need to move.
Would all do well to remember this.
That the Dow Jones Industrial average is at 33,000 down here in the lower right-hand corner. And sure, it's down 0.07% today. But it's at, did you guys celebrate when it hit 32 or 33 as a sign that the Biden plan is working? Okay.
Not what you've said, and it's not what your party has said.
That is simply
your party
a lie.
doesn't say it. Your party wants to go socialist
My
medicine
party is
and
me.
socialist
Right
healthcare.
now, I am
and
the
they're going to
Democratic
dominate
Party.
you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right now. The platform of the
Not according
Democratic
to
Party
Harris.
is what I,
Not according to Harris.
in fact, approved of.
Yeah, that's right.
Biden is the Democrat Socialist Party. The Socialist Party is Joe Biden.
No, he was saying that he's not those. All right, well, that's all right. Salcedo just, he's a Trump fart sniffer. We have to understand.
After spending years pretending that they care about Russia's malign activities, after all of their lip service about opposing communist China and their human rights abuses, their slavery, and their bigotry toward blacks, the Democrats.
I beg your pardon? Were the Democrats the only ones bringing up Chinese bigotry towards blacks? Was there a multitude of times where Trump and Chris Salcedo were like, yeah, but how black people are treated in China? What?
Democrat socialists now, well, now that they're safely in power, they're coming clean about what they really think.
Uh-oh. That they really like Chinese racism.
First, and more generically, whether it's China, Russia, or anyone else, we're not standing against any of those countries. We're not trying to, for example, contain China or keep it down.
Right.
We what? What? You left off the second half of the goddamn sentence. We're standing up for America? That you didn't like? I guess it doesn't fit the America Last, I'm already sick of it quote.
Right. Why would the American people sign onto an agenda that stands against Russia? Now, you all heard Biden's Secretary of State, Antony Blinken. U.S. government doesn't stand.
He didn't stand against Russia. We stand for America. We're not picking a fight. we're stopping one.
Against a country that Democrat socialists spent the last 4 years saying stole Americans' voices at the ballot box. Why would Americans stand against a racist regime in China that enslaves millions and is responsible for spreading the China virus to the globe on purpose?
On purpose. Very important. Chris Salcido, big Trump fart sniffer, believes that it was on purpose. It's a bioweapon attack. So let's be abundantly clear. That encapsulates who we are dealing with right now. We are dealing with a guy who believes that the Chinese didn't just make the disease up, they didn't just craft it, they attacked us with it. Not just us, the whole world. And so Trump's response of finishing phase one of his trade deal with them and then selling them the largest order of beef, corn, and soybeans in American history, that was the perfect response to a bioweapon attack.
Wait, we Americans do stand against those governments. It's Biden and his socialists who don't.
Oh, damn.
What about the open border policies of Joe
What about the open border policies? You mean the part where he says the borders are not open in English and Spanish?
Biden and his Marxist-Leninists in Washington?
Oh, Marxist-Leninists. My, they must be exhausted.
According to Biden, Americans support his foreigners first policies, bringing in
Is that what he said? Is that a direct quote?
millions of illegals to be supported by U.S. taxpayers. U.S. Congressman Pete Sessions detailed the
That's, by the way, video of the Guatemalan border. The Newsmax is a big fan of that.
cost to illegals, the healthcare crisis Biden is creating with thousands of China virus cases being ushered in every month, and in turn, Biden and his socialists will stick all of you with the bill.
Yeah, you're going to pay for feeding and inoculating children found in the desert. Does that sound like Christianity? I think not.
What a facility that was built for 250 has 4,700 people in there. No testing for COVID here. Just moving people through here to move.
Yeah, they're not testing there. They test elsewhere. That is a processing point.
Them to American cities so that American cities, school districts, hospital districts, cities have to pay for these people. This isn't the federal government paying for all this. Once they get landed there in where there are Democrat county judges and mayors who will openly...
This is Paul Boudin Budline Productions. Is that Paul Budline? Who's this guy? Why are we supposed to be listening to him? Is he supposedly someone who wears a badge or is an elected official?
They welcome all these tens of thousands.
Why does he not get... Why do they leave up the quote and the preamble shit when we're clearly past that?
People. What will happen is, as they said, this is the tip of the iceberg. What will keep coming is millions and millions more.
Millions and millions and millions and millions.
To be clear, this isn't the one-time payment for we Americans. We'll be paying the freight for citizens of other countries for decades to come.
Well, yeah, we are paying the freight to send them home in mass. Something upwards of like 90% of the people that cross the border are sent back, and a lot of the people that are, oh my God, they're crossing the border, tens of thousands, is the same fuckers over and over and over again.
Even now, while black, brown, Asian, and white American kids are confined to remote learning, California teachers are braving the China virus to teach illegal alien kids in person in San Diego, something the mayor bragged about.
They're volunteers.
Out to the
they've been vaccinated.
Approving ears over at CNN.
We have a convention center. It's owned by the people of this city, and we're making it available to our partners in the federal government to house, as you said, nearly 1,500 children. Right now, we're just focusing on children, making sure they're safe.
Children. Ew.
We welcomed them last night, gave them a hot meal and a shower. We're going to start classes here tomorrow. We're going to do our very best to do right by these kids between now and the middle of July.
Simply put,
simply put, we shouldn't be doing right by these children because they've done wrong by America.
Biden Socialist Party putting Americans last and foreigners first. But
he didn't do it. The teachers are volunteering. What's the alternative, Greg? Greg, tell me. Tell me, what do we do with the children, Greg? What do we do? Just dump them in Mexico like Trump did? 8,800 of them? right in the middle of the desert? Or do we process them, try to match them up with their parents again? If they can't be matched up, we work with the country that they came from to try and get them back there, because we can tell by their language and by their accent what part of the, what country they come from. We start placing them. And then the rare ones that don't have anyone, we place with either foster families to sponsor, that kind of thing. So, I'm sorry, what we're supposed to do? Oh, I'm sorry, take 4-year-olds and chuck them over the wall. Gotcha.
But it doesn't stop there.
Like Jesus would want.
In Washington State, a longtime hub for anti-American socialism,
Washington State, totally.
a charity called Friends of Youth decided to, quote, restructure in the
Longtime foster family gets booted from their house so unaccompanied minors can move in.
wake of thousands.
Terrible. Beth Bauman wrote this. Let's see. This has got to be awful. Hold on. From Town Hall. Let's see. Town Hall. Long-time foster family. See if that article comes up. There it is. 2 days ago. This is terrible. Tipsy Cartoons VIP. This is awful. What kind of here's the article, by the way, and this is the actual thing. This is just brutal. This is terrible. And not only do these people get kicked out, but they're selling Satan shoes as record number of unaccompanied minors as a record number of continue to flock across the United States-Mexico border. Both the federal government and nonprofit organizations are looking at temporary housing for children. What? Gross. Temporary housing for children? Temporary? What do you mean temporary? I thought the whole plan was that Biden was going to keep them here, and then by the time they turned 12, they could illegally vote in the 2024 election to get, obviously Kamala Harris in as president, because Biden's got horrifying dementia, and they're going to take him out with the 25th Amendment sometime in the next 6 months. But Border Patrol and HHS facilities are running over capacity. In fact, the Donna Border Patrol is running 78%. 4,100 unaccompanied minors facility designed for no more than 250 people. It's a common threat through immigration. Unprecedented number of unaccompanied minors and families crossing the border has nonprofit organizations restructuring and rethinking their programs. That's precisely what Friends of Youth, a Washington State-based program providing services and housing for homeless and foster youth, decided to do. The nonprofit realized they could receive extra funding for taking in unaccompanied minors. So this nonprofit decided they could get a little extra profit for taking an unaccompanied minor. Friends of Youth restructured, which meant 4 foster kids between the age of 12 and 18 and their foster parents were kicked out of their home in Renton. Edmundo and Paula Serena Sanchez had provided roughly 20 foster kids with a home over the last 7 years. Their home, however, is a facility that belongs to Friends of Youth. The home is being transitioned to provide a different scope of services in support of unaccompanied youth. Reason for the change, according to the Friends, despite having, despite there being an eviction moratorium in place, the nonprofit says they were exempt. The agreement in place with this family is not a traditional rent-lease agreement, therefore it does not fall under the eviction moratorium. The family voluntarily entered into an agreement that clearly stipulated a lack of lease or residential tenancy rights. Friends of Youth's Director, Marketing Communications, Hannah Cholga, wouldn't see an increase in funding from the decision. The organization, however, did receive $410,588 from the Office of Refugee and Resettlement. The funding, according to the resident, foster care systems, and why on earth would they allowing this to happen to our most vulnerable youth? It's a reason why they're choosing this. The worst part is having dramatic toll on them. Remember, folks, this is a border crisis, simply a humanitarian challenge. Oh, I'm guessing this is kind of leaning in the direction of a right-wing kind of a thing. Foster family told to vacate rented home to make room for migrant families. Okay. A couple fosters about 20 children, right? He says one child has been in the hospital with panic attacks. Another teenager ran away and has not come back. Serena Sanchez says the decision had a devastating impact on the 4 children. So this nonprofit group, the friendsofyouth.org, they seem lovely. So this is a Biden run organization, is it? Let's see, Friends of Youth. They're in Kirkland, Washington. Paul Lawali Clearly, that's an email link. Don't save. Deanna Adams, Pragya Madan. Clearly, redheaded Americans who are clearly driving out the, or just acquiescing. Volunteer? Well, certainly not if you're going to do that kind of thing. Support our work. Why give? Resources. Important. If you find yourself in an urgent, life-threatening situation, get on the phone now and dial 911, 24-hour shelter hotline. About us. Do we have a mission and history, board of directors, employment for employees, financial data, anti-racism, LGBTQ+. Terrible. Just terrible.
Thousands of illegal alien children being allowed to flood the United States every day.
By the way, do these people apparently have the resources to get their own home, and that's why they were asked to leave, and they were living basically rent-free in that thing?
The charity owned a home where Edmundo and Paula Serena Sanchez,
It's very nice of you, Salcedo,
provided roughly 20 foster kids with a home for the last 7 years. Foster parents are really doing God's work on earth. You need to know that. But
and apparently these people, Friends of Youth, coordinate God's work on earth.
Not anymore.
No, of course not. Now they're doing the devil's work.
Because Biden and his Socialist Party value foreign nationals more than they do Americans, the foster family was kicked out
by the private nonprofit organization in Kirkland, Washington,
to make room for illegal alien kids.
Yeah, and God would want those kids to die in the desert. Haven't you read the Old Testament?
It seems the so-called Friends of Youth charity can make more money, your taxpayer money, to house illegal aliens than to house American foster kids.
Sorry, these are resettled refugees, and the kids that they have, the foster kids they have, there's no statement about whether any of them had citizenship issues. You're just assuming they're all American foster kids.
Of course, we've all seen the leaked pictures out of Texas.
Yeah, so wouldn't you want them to just stay there?
Texas, of horrific living conditions.
Horrific.
That these illegal aliens, and adults and kids alike, are forced into because of socialist Democrats and their so-called compassion.
So-called compassion. Yeah, it's not compassion. Compassion is leaving them in the desert where you find them.
As Congressman Sessions said, in one facility alone.
Yeah, refugees aren't illegal. Good point, Grace.
4,700 people are crammed into a space designed to hold 250 people.
Yeah, but they're processing them through there. They put them somewhere else. That's the whole thing. And a lot of them just get booted.
President Trump encountered a comparatively small surge. The socialist loudmouth Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez made a beeline for Texas to cry.
By the way, does this dude say Chinese names right? I'm going to guess no.
In staged pictures at a detention facility she claimed was caging kids. But
yeah, because they weren't unaccompanied minors. They were made unaccompanied on purpose.
Where is the woke nitwit now? She's nowhere to be found. She has no tears to shed for inhuman conditions being administered by...
Uh-oh. Terrible. Hold on. Let's see. AOC on border... the Hill. Let's see. Well, I mean, you're gonna have to forgive me. This is obviously the New York Post. So, I mean, they're very pro-Trump. So you're probably not. There's a lot not to believe in that. I'm just saying. Where is she? Where is she? Where's this AOC person, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, that you have seen? Clearly, where is she? She was there, actually.
Her Socialist Party.
Socialist Party, which wants everybody to live 470 people to a room.
Don't worry. She's providing an excuse for her absence.
Are you for real? So let's talk about this, because so much of our national conversation, which is not a conversation about immigration, is driven by people who could not care less about immigrants.
Oh, she's calling you out, Salcedo.
Okay, let me stop it right there. The reason we can't have a conversation about the...
is because we don't know speak Spanish?
Problem is that AOC and others like her are so dumb.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that solved it. I was worried for a second.
They don't even know what the conversation is about.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it would be dumb to say that border conditions are barbaric, and yeah, be terrible.
The problem isn't with immigrants or immigration. It's about illegal immigration. Immigration is legal. Illegal immigration, well, is not.
Right. But we're processing people who are here illegally, and she's talking about the facilities where they process people who are here illegally, or refugees who aren't, or people seeking asylum who aren't, who've been waiting on the other side of the border for the better part of 2 years in squalor and in dangerous conditions, where a lot of them are in danger of violence and drug trafficking and sex trafficking. But, I mean, please, continue to not give a shit.
There are
Please continue to make her point for her.
two different problems with two different solutions.
Uh-oh. 2 solutions. One solution is just say no to visas for brown people. And the other one is what?
The reason why we can't talk with you, AOC, is that, well, you're
because she won't return your call. I mean, I don't know that you're calling her, but
too uninformed to know the difference.
Oh, I can see.
AOC continued.
Often people want to say, why aren't you talking about the border crisis? Or why aren't you talking about it in this way? Well, we're talking about it. They just don't like how we're talking about it. Because it's not a border crisis. It's an imperialism crisis. It's a climate crisis. It's a trade crisis. And also, it's a carceral crisis.
What? Wait. All of that happened over the last 2 years? I'll get to her absurd
No, it's been going on that way for a long time, obviously.
argument here in a second, but
No, there's multiple. I mean, obviously, climate hasn't been just heating up in the last 2 years. Did you see the hurricanes? All right.
Assuming all of these issues existed back in
I'm digging his air quotes, though.
2019 when she staged a little photo op in Texas. Why would she show up then and not in 2021? The answer is simple, folks. She's a rather unintelligent political hack.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't realize. Yeah.
It is she who couldn't care less about a border crisis.
Yeah, Chris has been to the border multiple times, and he's like, how are you going to help these children? He said, I'm sick of it now.
Because she knows,
the border first, I'm already sick of it should be the name of the show.
She and her party created it.
We created 2 hurricanes and a gang crisis in Guatemala.
That's why she's desperate to talk about all of her little fantasy crises of imperialism, man-made global warming, and other imaginary crises that she...
Oh, I didn't realize it was a man-made global warming. It was imaginary. But please, go on about Jesus.
Can try to blame on Republicans for her political advantage. AOC, Biden, and the rest of the socialists don't care about Americans.
They don't care about Americans. That's why they have giant facilities stopping thousands of people from coming in and processing them, because they don't care about Americans. If you cared about Americans, you just pretend they didn't exist and let them walk on through.
They only care about power over those Americans. The question is, how much longer will you and the rest of our fellow citizens put up with all this idiocy being done in our name?
That's right. What are we going to do, Chris? Tell us what to do. Something violent, I guess? Maybe vote? Is that what you're saying, or?
Even though they appear...
She doesn't represent your district, so what the fuck are you going to do about it?
...to be winning at this point, I know our political enemies have one fatal flaw.
Uh-oh. They're mittens?
They think they're entitled to power, and they overreach.
Oh, that's really... Because there seemed to be another guy running last time who thought he was entitled to power and seemed to overreach. I can't remember his name, but it's something... Orchid? I don't remember.
Done so.
I don't know why I'm thinking of Orchid when I think of the guy who overreached and thought he deserved power.
They think that once they have power, that Americans have been conditioned to do what...
Uh-oh, did we do it? Have we froze again? Son of a... I didn't do anything. I don't know why it's going. Try to get it back. Try to get it back, oh yeah, we try to get it back, oh yeah. This thing is just cooking, that's what's happening. Holy smokes. Am I back? Is it working? We're back. Literally, like it's trying. It's on a little bit of a delay. Yep. It's catching up. I had to go over and literally, like, I had to turn the fan on in this room to cool off that computer. Audio's good? Pause twice, now frozen. All right. There's this weird delay. I'm a moment behind myself. Weird. But it's better because I'm circulating air. Hold on. Oh, it froze again. Hold on. Yeah, thing is straight up cooking. That's what happens when I get these, like, oh man. All right, so fingers crossed. This is what happens when I go over 2 hours in this setup or get close to it. All right, we'll finish up. It's salsito. It's too spicy.
Do whatever we're told, forgetting our American roots as a country of.
I'm still limping by on the old computer. I'm trying. I really am, guys.
By and for the people. Are there?
How many people? 4?
Okay. Right? Or are there a growing number of people like me?
No, there aren't. There are not. As a matter of fact, I guarantee there is not a growing number of people like you, because apparently at one point you had 1.89 million subscribers on this and only 39,000 of them are watching this shit. So I'm guessing, and not that you don't look very sweet.
Who are sick and tired of our great country being run by leftists who put our people last.
We're not obviously putting them last. People are coming in, they're being rejected, their children coming in, but that was it? Ba-bam! Christ almighty. By the way, we're going to end with a little Mark Levin. Mark Levin is not doing as well as Lara Trump's 11,000 rumbles. This one, he's only got, 4,000 views total, and only 870 people gave a shit. And this is equally, it took just as long. So, yeah, our people, right? Here we go. I'm just excited to see, Mr. Producer.
As you know, there is a disaster on the border.
Uh-huh. That's called your belt, Mark.
I read a piece by the chairman and CEO of Gallup.
Ugh, terrible. Chairman and CEO of Gallup wrote a piece.
And he wrote this piece about a week ago.
All right. Very exciting.
And Gallup does tons of surveying. It's actually a pretty good operation all over the world.
You think? You mean multi-million-dollar organization, really solid?
As well as in the United States.
Yeah.
And it did a massive survey of the 33 countries that are south of our border, including countries in the Caribbean.
Yummy.
And it found that a huge percentage of the people who live in these countries want to leave those countries.
Uh-huh.
120 million.
Uh-oh. 120. That means 400 million Americans, and they're all speaking Spanish.
27% of the population south of the border wants to leave those countries.
Do they all want to come here? Or are they just going through to get to Canada?
25%, give or take.
Yeah, give or take.
Of the people who want to leave those countries want to come to the United States. And he calculated it to the 1 millionth. And it's 42 million people south of the border, if they had a chance, would migrate to the United States.
Yeah, and they don't. Right. 42 million people. Yes, absolutely. Right. 340 million people in the country. 42 million people want to come here, not to mention Europeans. I mean, I know you're not worried about them. How many Chinese people want to come here? If they could.
42.
I mean, there's 1.2 billion, really closer to 700 million, but who's counting? For the sake of argument, 1.2 billion people. How many Chinese people want to move to the United States? I'm going to guess the 48 million rando South Americans that would love to come here compared to the number of Chinese people who'd love to hear and move here is
2 million. Now, what Joe Biden has done by obliterating what Donald Trump put in place, and what
You mean the right to grab women against their will? Oh, it's something else.
Donald Trump put in place.
He put in place a fast food bar in the. Oh, you mean the Rose Garden thing? No, maybe that's
common sense steps to control the border, to manage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Disease. That's a common sense step.
Manage the.
If only we could get a highly contagious disease that would stop all border crossing right now.
Coming flow. To determine who is who.
Who is who?
Child from parent and so forth.
All the. I'm sorry, a common sense approach. You mean just separating them and pretending that they're not related, and then just losing the child? That common sense approach?
Policies Trump put in place and negotiated with several countries south of the border, including Mexico, Joe Biden, within a few hours of becoming president, eliminated.
Because we were still seeing lots of people come up. They were just all camping out, waiting for their chance, basically staging on the side of the southern border, and it was creating a humanitarian crisis. And it was eventually going to get to the point where they would start pushing against the border because there would just be tens of thousands of people there at every single point of entry.
His transition team was told by civil servants.
You mean that served under Trump, and border people that loved Trump and supported Trump and got their jobs because they hate Mexicans?
Civil servants at the Department.
Just civil servants, government employees. Somebody Mark Levin normally has a lot of respect for.
Department of Homeland Security and the Border Patrol, at ICE, they were told that if he would lift all these practices that Trump...
Oh, you mean the Border Patrol guys that are slowing down processing so that kids can't... I see. So that it takes longer to process someone?
Put in place.
That are causing the jam-ups?
At the recommendation, of course, of these civil servants who do this every day, they'd have a disaster on the border. And Biden ignored it all. Biden went ahead because Biden is about Biden, his legacy, and empowering the Democrat Party.
Well, if he wants it, why would he? Oh, I see. Biden wants a disaster as his legacy. Who doesn't?
To me, the bottom line is this.
Tell us, Mark. We're all waiting with bated breath. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. P.S. Where'd you get the giant Trump salt shaker? Is it a cookie jar? If it is, why is it so small? What kind of bullshit cookie jar is that?
You're not hearing a lot of squealing from Democrats.
No, that's true. Well, you're hearing a little bit of squealing, like, we got the $1.9 trillion COVID relief package passed, and it looks like we're going to use reconciliation to pass the infrastructure plan as well.
You're not
that kind of squealing.
Even hearing a lot of squealing from the media, some, but not most.
Yeah, not really.
The reason is they want all these people to come to the country.
Oh, right.
They want wave after wave of amnesty.
Wave after wave. Yeah, I know. Reagan, we were like, after Reagan, we're like, why can't we have more Reagans?
That is wave after wave of legalization and then citizenship. And then
oh, we're legalizing pot at the same time? Oh, I see, because Mexicans all smoke pot, and Mexico and pot, and brown people and pot and drugs. Gotcha, okay.
And voting. 2/3.
Well, they wouldn't be able to vote for 10 years, and obviously you guys have got the elections locked up.
So the Hispanic population in this country that votes for Democrats.
Gee, I wonder why. Could it be their policies and their lack of racism compared to the other party?
Donald Trump got a bigger percentage than most Republicans, but you
the people Hispanic whites. You mean that kind of idea? Right.
Can't win if you're getting less than 60%.
Yeah.
And your opponent's getting 60 or 65% of the vote of a particular community. It's just the way it is, and nobody's more aware of this than the Democrat Party and the media.
Really? Because I do have, I beg your pardon, and I know this is kind of a dick move. I know this is a rough one for you, Mark Levin, but I have to, you have to understand who, where Biden, part of the reason why he got elected was because of the time he served with Barack Obama. That was a major factor in people's belief that he could sensibly view policies, that he could have a really kind of stable, normal, healthy view of these things. And if that's the case, then why in the world if Democrats just want to stampede, did they get the VP of the guy who had more deportations than any other president, and many combined? And by the way, Trump may be getting closer to Obama's recent policy, was the name of that article. That's August 29, 2016. On day one, I'm going to begin swiftly removing criminal illegal alien immigrants from this country. Really? Because between 2009 and 2015, Obama removed more than 2.5 million people through immigration orders. That's not just people who are at the border and getting bounced back. That's, which doesn't include the number of people who self-deported or were turned away or returned to their home country at the border by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. 2.5 million people. How's that compared to other presidents? In fact, they've deported more than the sum of all presidents in the 20th century. Now, granted, there are more people coming north. That's a big factor. The ability to come north and, get up here is easier than it was before. Time tends to move forward. 90, and the important part was, who is being? According to the Obama website and during his 2014 executive action on immigration, he said, ICE has continued to increase its focus on identifying, arresting, and removing convicted criminals in prisons and jails, and also at-large arrests in the interior. People with a criminal record, like murderers, rapists, killers, all these people that Trump always warned us about. That was the primary practice of the Obama administration. 91% of them had been previously convicted of a crime. One of the reasons, and I will argue this, one of the reasons why Trump created the zero tolerance policy, and which basically made it an equal crime: drug smuggling, human trafficking, murder, rape, assault, all that stuff, made it an equal crime to just cross the border, so that Trump could get near Biden's and Obama's 91% number. 91% of the people deported in 2015 had been previously convicted of a crime. Trump wasn't anywhere near able to do those kind of numbers because Biden had gotten rid of a lot of them. They were long haulers in jail. They had been there for 7 years. And they're like, no, we're sending you back. So you can't get rid of them twice. They sent them down there and they went to jail in their home countries. They served out their terms there. So you can't get rid of those people again. So Trump just decided to make everybody who crosses the border a criminal, and therefore he's like, 100% of the people I'm kicking out are criminals. That was the whole thing. Bull jive. But please tell me how the Democratic plan is to flood the country.
So this is one of the ways, as they did with California, that they wish to change the demographics. Now, the left and the Democrats, if you even dare to raise this, will say, oh, you're...
if you dare to raise it, what am I supposed to do? I need to know how I'm supposed to react.
You're against the browning of America. I'm not against the browning, the whiting, the blacking, whatevering of America.
Kind of are.
I just know the Democrat Party is a diabolical institution.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with skin color. It's just that Democrats are of the devil. And anything they suggest, no matter how positive or whether it actually supports the goals of multitudes of Republicans throughout the country as well as Democrats and is bipartisan, it doesn't matter because it's really just there to hide their devilish, evil devil plans.
It's been a diabolical institution since before the Confederacy.
Well, it's a different party than before the Confederacy.
The Civil War.
Uh-huh. So the Civil Rights Act was just a trick.
Segregation.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And then?
As recently, Jim Crow and now so-called democratic socialism. It does not...
there's wholly unrelated. There's no such thing as democratic socialism, by the way. It's a moniker that a small group uses, and some people borrowed it for a little while, but it actually doesn't mean anything.
embrace Americanism. It does not embrace American sovereignty.
Sure it does, or he wouldn't have deported more people than all presidents so far. And by the way, Biden's plans overall are basically measured to Obama's.
This party is really an alien party now.
It is. It's aliens. That's what it is. I thought it was. Are there demon aliens?
There are very few moderates that run the Democrat Party.
It's interesting that there are very few that run it. You mean the one guy that runs it who's a moderate?
People who are Democrats would realize this.
Yeah, I know. They just don't.
Throughout the country. Now, all that.
Yeah, most of them live in Europe.
That said, Joe Biden is in no hurry to fix this.
He is in no hurry to fix this. He doesn't want to hair. I don't know why hair is a term that would stick in your head. He's definitely in no hurry.
He's not going to change his policies.
No, he's not.
At least not in any substantive way.
No, guess he's not going to go back to the Obama plan for immigration once they get a handle on this spike that's normal and happens every year.
So they're busy building more retention centers, aka camps.
I know you. Yeah, that's right. But you're next, Mark. We're not building these for immigrants. We're just practicing with them. We're just using them as dummies. Obviously, all conservatives will go into these things for disposal.
Internment centers.
Yeah, right. Conservative internment centers for where you guys will be re-educated, like Uyghurs. Yeah, that's the whole plan. Uh-oh, he's on to us.
People to go through.
Uh-huh.
Now, in these detention centers that are right on the border,
oh my God, look at that baby. How can you stomach it, Mark? Look at her. She's got a lawyer and a caseworker.
Overcrowding is unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. You're really concerned about the crowding. That's why you hated Joe Arpaio.
People who've been there, they say the conditions are unimaginable.
Well, obviously, there's pictures. You don't have to imagine it.
That the Border Patrol and ICE are spending a significant percentage of their time caring for these people, processing.
Ew, they're caring for people? Kind of commie bullshit is this?
These people and unable to secure the border, so you can see the vicious cycle.
Yeah, the border's open because they're taking care. They're like, oh my God, this baby needs resuscitating. We just found him in a river. There's people running by. Do I tackle that guy or leave the baby in the water? It's like a game show.
You know, these brutal killing machines, these drug cartels in Mexico.
Yeah, did you see that little girl behind the glass? She was serving time. She runs one of them.
Mexico, south of the border.
Wait, Mexico is south of the border? Which border? The Canadian border? And the Arctic.
Using this as an opportunity to push as many opioids and other drugs as they can into this country.
That's what we're really trying to do. I mean, it's not. Most of these kids are robots, and then they're cavernous and they open up and just dump it.
They're coyotes.
Yeah, absolutely. Cat-eating bastards.
They're also making a fortune.
Are they? The Democrats are making a fortune on this.
Using these kids who are being sent to the United States by their parents because
the cartels are.
Announced that no children will be sent back under any circumstances, which means...
Is that the quote, Mark? I mean, I know you're a lying piece of shit, Mark. I know, we all know you're a lying piece of shit. But I gotta say, you have to try a little harder. Because you can't... This is after the press conference, which you guys said would never come, and then you said was a disaster. And in it, even though you're like, I didn't listen to that shit, but it was terrible, I heard. That in it, he said, if in best case scenario, if a child comes across the border unaccompanied, we would put them on a plane and reunite them with their mother. That's what he actually said.
Which means their parents eventually will be called for, and they will join them. And then...
No, that's precisely the opposite of what he said.
There'll be chain migration behind that nobody's talking about.
Well, they're not talking about it because it's in your fat head. By the way, I'm now understanding why you take the whole Mr. Potato Head controversy so seriously.
And so what's happening is...
What's happening? What is happening, Mark?
I read 30% of the women coming are sexually molested and raped. %.
Yeah, so you care about what happens. So they get up here. So what? We don't want them crossing into the country because they're tainted? Ew. We don't want victims in the country.
The little girls that are coming are being given birth control pills. So many of these
By who? The Biden administration?
little kids are being molested.
And so we should turn them away, because who wants molested kids in the country? Yuck, right?
And otherwise abused.
So yeah, if you show up, we should be able to ask you, have you been sexually assaulted or abused, 4-year-old kid, 7-year-old, 9-year-old, 12-year-old? If they say yes, they can't get in. Why isn't that on the citizenship test?
What's happening is these cartels and other criminals are grabbing these kids and then selling them to adults who try and come across by saying that those are their children.
No. Right now, the issue is unaccompanied minors. The parents are bringing them up, and they're going, I know I'm not getting in, but I can send my child across, and hopefully they will have a better life. And then I will apply for asylum over here. I don't want to wait for 2 years with my child. Even if it takes 2 years for me to get my asylum hearing and I think I have a legitimate claim, at least my child will be safe. I hope. So they're sending the child alone. Did you not just...
Because Biden says we will not separate children from adults.
Know how if they didn't send them, they would not suffer? They're supposed to just die, I guess, in the hurricane-ravaged parts of their country, or become members of drug cartels, or yeah, okay.
I heard this Psaki say, the idiot spokesperson for the idiot.
Is it Psaki? Is that how it's pronounced? Mark Lavin?
She said that unlike the Trump administration, we will not be tearing children from their parents.
Right. They're not. The children are already alone.
The Trump administration didn't tear children from their parents. They were...
Yeah, they did.
Trying to figure out if these adults and these children belong to each other.
And then they just lost them. They didn't care. They didn't put them back together.
That's actually a humane thing. It's something that needed to be determined.
They do determine it. There's part of the interview process. They assumed they weren't automatically, and then the kids just vanished.
In the end, the Biden administration is trying to do the same thing.
Is it really? That's, yeah. Wait, the Biden administration is trying to do the same thing the Trump administration was doing? Wait, what? I thought they were demonic.
The system is overwhelmed. The system is collapsing.
And by system, he means his belt.
And so what do?
I don't know. What do?
In order to put off some of the steam in the system?
Oh, there's too much steam. See, I would have checked the belts. Maybe the oil.
They're letting people go willy-nilly after a few...
My name's not willy-nilly, but I tell your story.
Few days. Some they're processing for weeks. Others they're allowing to leave almost immediately, depending on the sector, without giving them...
Depending on the sector?
Paperwork for a court date. Just hoping they'll show up at some point on an honor.
Well, no, they're putting with an NGO or with a foster family. And if they don't show up, they can't be citizens. You won't get asylum. You won't become a citizen if you don't show up. And it's a great way to broom people who are fucking with the system.
We already know from experts like Tom Homan and others.
Yeah, Tom's great. Who?
That there really is no honor system for the vast majority of people coming into this country illegally. They do.
No. People from South America have no honor. They don't know what honor is.
Do not show up for their court dates.
They do not show up for their court date because they have no honor.
And there's simply too many of them to send out.
Too many. It's not that I don't have honor. It's that the line was too long and I had to pee, and then I left and I came back and they said, you missed your date. And I was like, oh, shit. And then they said I had no honor. And I smacked them with a glove.
Federal officials to go and find them, and we don't find them.
No, we don't find them. No, we don't find them. Apparently, the Obama administration found them. 2.5 million of them, they found them. Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
And hence you have this massive growing population of illegal immigrants in the country, including a certain percentage that are criminals, a certain percentage that have communicable diseases.
Mark just does not know how, he can't navigate how to get laid in the modern society. Like, ugh, I'm so attracted to her, Mr. Producer, but you might have to clap. I don't know.
It's just an appalling situation.
It is. It's an appalling situation.
Transvestites.
Yeah, they might be.
Transvestites.
You don't know.
Overwhelms local communities. The Biden administration is moving numbers of the illegal aliens into other states.
Instead of just leaving them in squalor that you were complaining about a second ago, they're moving them to other states where they might have facilities. Weird.
Into the interior of the country. And
wow, can't believe you find this funny. I don't find the actual subject funny. I find this asshole pretending to give a shit funny. Just because some words are used to lighten a subject does not mean the subject is taken lightly. I refuse on this show to take that asshole seriously. So if you think I'm joking about the border or the children, you're mistaken. I'm joking about this fuckhead acting like he really cares. Because we all know he doesn't. And he does not care at all.
they also have in mind here, I'm convinced, the Democrats to change Texas. Texas is leaning
That's the goal, is to change Texas. And you can only do it with Mexican 4-year-olds.
purple. I never thought
and Guatemalans.
I'd be able to say this, but it's true politically.
No, it's terrible. We're trying to change... Jesus. Yeah. How do we turn Texas purple and then blue? We could do it through policies and, of course, allowing everyone to vote, but that'll never fucking happen. Even though our policies are incredibly popular in the state, for some reason, voting machines don't turn up in the areas where we're strongest. It's the strangest thing. Maybe we need an army of Guatemalan 6-year-olds. Genius!
And it's on the cusp of turning blue.
Maybe you should loosen your belt then.
Texas turns blue, you cannot elect a Republican president.
Never. Not ever. Because obviously once people get aware of his policies, and it would be a Republican he, obviously. Ever. Because there will never be a Hispanic Republican. Forget it. Never happen. I mean, there are Hispanics that are pro-life, and there are Hispanics who are conservative, view themselves as, but Mark and the rest of the Republicans aren't going to vote for him, so what chance do they have?
Look what they did to California.
Oh, what did they do to California? Oh, made the state's tax revenue go up 1.43% during a pandemic when other states were down 10% like Texas? You mean like that?
California was a lot reliably Republican state.
Uh-huh. And then fucking San Francisco and Los Angeles started kicking San Diego and Irvine's ass.
2 landslides for Reagan, a landslide really for George H.W. Bush, and after that, gone.
Yeah, they basically regretted it. I mean, don't get me wrong. George W. Bush was fantastic, and I don't know why he didn't appeal to more Californians.
And some of the people who have been hatching these policies and ideas
do they sit on them? Is there a heat lamp?
Are taking them from California, whether it is voting systems, whether it is immigration, to change the culture, the dynamics, the demographics, citizenship in the rest of the country. They are
yeah, all those Chinese people in San Francisco, done.
Trying to Californianize, if you will, the United
Yeah, I would. That's a word.
States of America. This is what they're doing. This is the truth.
Yeah. They started giving a shit about animal rights and gay marriage and stuff, and you guys refused to move with it at all and just hunkered down and got obliterated.
And it is a disaster. Well, some senators went down there, among others.
Yeah, it was great. They were so sexy. It was like watching the Rambo movie set in Myanmar.
They're trying to see what's going on in these
yeah, and they did.
Detention centers, which Biden now calls reception centers. He's an idiot, but nonetheless.
Does he call them reception centers?
Yes.
Or did you hear something and you think he said that and you're an idiot? All right.
And the press can't get into these
no, they can't get in.
Called centers. And I've never seen anything like this. I don't think so.
Wait, you've never seen, hold on. Trump admin denies press border facilities, something like that. Let's see. I'm gonna try to find an older one. Let's see. Nice press. What was it? Let's see. Up, down. There we go. Vice President Trump press release. American Immigration Council. There you go. Border Patrol official microphone 20. Let's see. When was that? 2021 is 2020. General silence microphone 2 days ago. Number of microchallenge damages have tripled. Let's see the thing. Press briefing Jen Psaki. There's a lot of stories. So hold on. Let me try and jump back a couple of years to lack of transparency for the. Okay, it's terrible. Will it taking children to marking borders? Who's funny? America's destruction undocumented every day. Minor problems. Trump administration weakened standards for ICE. Using COVID to continue. Let's see. Bipartisan Policy Center. All right.
Since Woodrow Wilson or Franklin
Woodrow Wilson.
Roosevelt, have we?
Nobody's ever. You don't remember the Trump administration denying photojournalists?
Ever had
ever
such censorship and propaganda? And what's interesting is some of the media is squawking, as I said earlier, but the vast majority are not. They're not bringing.
No, they're not squawking.
Lawsuits, not jumping up and down. Remember when Jim Acosta was told he can't come to a presidential press briefing again because he was disrupting them, despite the
that's what he was. He was disrupting with his second question.
fact that there were 3 or 4 CNN reporters there. He was a problem, and we had a federal judge rule, no, he has to be there, which was such an outrageous ruling. But
outrageous.
But it's a Trump judge. I don't care. Such an outrageous.
He was a Trump judge. I don't care.
Just ruling.
Yay, Maxwell, congrats.
And here.
By the way, Mark, with all your flailing anti-immigrant racism, your absolute disregard for the lives of children, viewing them as carrying sexually transmitted diseases as a point of fear-mongering, and your stupid-ass Donald Trump cookie jar in the background, with all of that, you're still boring the living shit out of all of us. Where is the angry whipping off of glasses?
The American people don't get to see the inside of what's taking place in these facilities unless the Democrat congressman from this area, Henry...
I'm sorry, that didn't count. I want to pull him off and point with the end like he does. Now he's staring down at him like he's trying to ask me to prom.
Cuellar, who is apparently a decent guy, and he sees the inhumanity. He's taking pictures and videos he can, because phones are being actually removed from members of Congress.
Oh my God.
Want to see more?
No, I don't. Why was that the cut? Phones are actually being removed from members of Congress. I'm just going to sit here and stare at my glass. This is... throw in some... Mr. Producer, put in giant crazy music. I don't even know how to deal with this. It's terrible. How can you even expect this kind of thing? Honest to God. This is... today, by the way, I am not short for... And, I'm not short of videos to show you guys, but I didn't want to turn tonight into another marathon. Already tonight we've gone a half hour long just dealing with what came up in the fantastic Trump interview, where I feel like we all learned and grew so very much. Over the next... Let's see if I can find this link. Over the next, couple of days, as the infrastructure bill rolls out, expect to hear a lot more from these idiots about, how the border is really the danger. That this is really this is a horrifying problem. As it gets solved, both because of the timing, I had a little knot in my hair right there. Let's see, it's getting long enough where I'm like, if I run it through and kick. At a certain point, they're going to run out of stuff to bitch about on it. And I don't know what the next thing is. I think it's probably killer bees. I mean, I don't know what I don't know if you saw this story. Man found 15,000 bees in his car after grocery shopping. Really? Do not break up with a beekeeper and expect her to be, The bees were safely removed by an off-duty firefighter whose hobby is beekeeping. He just happened to be shopping. I'll do anything to keep people from killing bees, he said. Anything. Look at that. And who counted them? 15,000, and an even number. Obviously, a satanic pestilence in his car. In his car. Murder hornets. Yeah. Oh, it's ants? Ants are the next thing? Maybe so, but I just love this one. Look at this off-duty firefighter. Like, guys, come on. Everybody in the truck. Over the next... I am watching for what the next thing... I think it's going to be the devil's vaccine passport. Or, I suppose, Satan's shoes. Clearly the devil's shoes are going to destroy us all. Here they are, the devil's shoes. They got human blood in them. Human blood. Being sold by a black person.
You know, what about names like the Beach Boys, the Eagles?
Yeah, what about the Eagles? Remember, none of them dated a teenager.
The Commodores, you know.
Yeah, the Beach Boys, you know, clean living guys who haven't burned their brains out with LSD. The Commodores. This motherfucker does not listen to the Commodores. The Commodores.
I don't understand what happened in music that we have to come
me neither.
Up with names that nobody really understands what they are.
We don't understand what they are? You mean Little Nas? Who's not Nas, but is Little Nas? What's the little part? You didn't, like Lil Abner confused the shit out of you?
His name is Montero Lamar Hill, and he came up with the Satan shoes. All right, so now you see they're right there on the screen.
Oh my God, they're black more than they're red, which should tell you right there.
There is 1 part blood, a drop of blood in each and every pair. 666 pairs were made. Now there you see right there, it's got a scripture on it. Luke 10:18 right there on the shoe, which is the scripture talking about Satan descending from.
Thank you, Templeton. Merchandising, Satan the flamethrower, Satan the lunchbox. You get it all. Collect them all.
From heaven like lightning. Now you see the Nike swoosh on there. All right.
Yeah, they're in a licensing dispute about that.
So Nike is a part of this?
No.
But Nike says no, they're not.
Right.
They're not a part of it. What that is a company that takes shoes, and they kind of white label it, but they're in the middle of a...
What? Did you hear that?
That is a company that takes shoes, and they
listen to how he says white.
Kind of white label it, but...
White. Yes. White. That's how you say it if you're a white supremacist, by the way. White. There's one dude that is constantly being interviewed that is is a white supremacist. I think he's British, but he pronounces it white and makes it. No, he's Canadian. White. He says white all the time.
But they're in the middle.
It's just a curious thing. Most of us say white, but when you say white and you're full on the WH, kind of telling. Kind of lets you know what this guy listens to in his off days.
A big lawsuit right now where Nike says they're suing them for libel for what they did with their...
So basically a giant company, somebody, tried a publicity stunt and they're pushing back against it in normal life and who gives a shit and the devil isn't in control. There's 666 pairs of these shoes and you guys took the fucking bait and showed an ad for it, basically.
With their brand, and that's a good reason. Now, these shoes sold for $1,018 a piece. Now, look, here's the tweet with it. There you go, and you see those pictures, and the box was so hideous, we're not even going to show you what that really looks like up close. But these...
It's a red box with inverted crosses or something.
Sold out, and here's the bizarre part. They sold
It is bizarre.
Out in less than a minute.
Oh, wait. You are showing me because there's naked, writhing bodies all over the top of the box. So thanks, Christian Broadcasting Center. There they are. That's an ass. This is some level of hell.
666 pairs at over 1,000.
Oh, Lord. Steph, oh, man. She just said, a friend just called to let me know her ex-husband, who's her daughter's uncle, is not going to make it through the night with COVID. He was a staunch believer that COVID wasn't real, so please say prayers. Man, it just sucks. These again, but Dinesh D'Souza wants us all to know that, you know, it's their freedom, it's their right, it's an exercise of freedom. Oh, thank you, Susan. Yeah, there's 666 pairs. I mean, it's a promo.
$1,000 a shoe.
No, a pair. Nobody's selling it, and it's the same price as the Luke.
Well, in light of this, I've decided to re-release a shoe I think every Christian in America should have. All right, you ready? Here it is. It's the Chick-fil-A shoe. I think we need a Chick-fil-A shoe.
Jesus Christ. My pleasure, in quotes, John 3:16. My pleasure. Is that what they say when they... Good God. This ham-handed horse shit. And they, by the way, they go off on this shit. Oh, look, it's Hank. Tell us, Hank.
Wake.
Gonna paint some really nice little satanic visions on this little... It's like an angel passing through a blender. We're gonna put a little... Hank Kunneman is the new anti-Bob Ross.
In the United States, and it happened in 2018. It happened in Alaska. There was a 7.0 earthquake.
Oh my God, this is the shaking ground bullshit. I can't. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go because holy hell, we don't need any of these assholes tonight. But the shoe worked. Whoops. Ah man, hold on. Now I gotta. Literally have to walk over and blow on the computer.
I like wood.
Have to cool the computer just so that it'll... Yeah. He needs to watch some more Bob Ross. It would be helpful. I'm going to let you guys go because I got to cool this computer off. I need to put it on ice or something. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Party by only promised 2.5 hours. It's true. And I did work out today. This is the current shape of things. That's my shirt's all bunched up. There we go. This is the current state of affairs. It's good. I need to work on my left arm a little bit, get it some size up. But, you know, those who were following along, who were asking about, like, Project 50 and all that kind of stuff, I do need to liquid cool it, but you can't do that. I get a water-cooled ring. That's not a bad idea. For this one, I've got the old round Mac, and it usually ventilates very well, but it's starting to heat up. So I'll work on it. Although I hopefully can shift over to the M1 soon, and they don't generate any heat. They're great. They just can't use the software yet. Grumble. Anyways, I adore you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow at the regular time, 3 o'clock. It's Friday. And then on Saturday, of course, Johnny can't be with us, so I might have a special guest being my co-host on Saturday. We'll see. I'm going to work on it. Could be cool. So take care of yourself. Take care of somebody else. Thank you guys so much for the super chats and the support and the new patrons. Welcome. Thank you guys a lot. Thank you, Mark and Sonia and Susan and of course, Templeton, bless your heart, and let's see, and Maxwell. Let me scroll through some of these. And Philly Dana and Enrique and Jay and Richard. Thank you guys so much. And Foggy and Michelle. Thank you, Paul Newman. Big fan of your salad dressing. Thanks for resubscribing, Misanthropic, by the way. And Diana, thank you so much. And Melissa, thank you again. And Benny Loco wants to remind everybody to give a thumbs up. Thank you again, Aggie, for the Swedish kroner. We love you. And Michelle, again, and I don't want to miss one. Jay, thank you. And Al Power and Melissa, again, thank you. And there was one I missed before. Raphael and Mark, thank you so much for the birthday wish. And happy birthday to you from all of us. And I will see you guys tomorrow at the regular time. Thanks for hanging out. And I'm gonna now I can finally eat my burrito. It's been sitting here. I have not. That thing is enormous. It's ridiculous. Wish me luck on the other. I'll see you on the other side if I'm here tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Yes, and happy Holy Week to all the Christians among us. I wish you a wonderful Good Friday tomorrow. And happy Passover to the Jews. Absolutely. And I'll come up with my own. Today is a religious holiday for comedians, April 1st. So April Fool's Day is not about just tricking people. It's about respect for comedians. So I would suggest that everybody go listen to some Godfrey Cambridge. And let's see, who else? Some Jonathan Winters. Who else you might, and some Shelley Berman. And we'll do that. And then if you get a chance, watch Thank You Masked Man, the Lenny Bruce cartoon. You can find it on YouTube. Just look up Thank You Masked Man, Lenny Bruce. They did a cartoon of a bit that he did. And it was just somebody in the 60s. It's great old, like early 70s, late 60s animation. It's fantastic. Yeah, Godfrey Cambridge. Yes, I would say to people like Carlin and Eddie Murphy and those kind of things, but you might know about them. So you might not know about Godfrey Cambridge and the impact that he had. You might not know about Shelley Berman. So I'm suggesting, there you go. And Jonathan Winters, obviously, lovely. So, all right, I will see you guys tomorrow. It's another Midwestern goodbye. I know. I got a burrito to eat. I'll see you later. See you guys tomorrow.